following is a special presentation of the World Baseball Classic. And so we meet again. The last time we saw this matchup of teams, it was the upset of the '09 World Baseball Classic. The Netherlands sent the Dominican Republic home shamed and embarrassed. The Kingdom of the Netherlands is back, this time in the Final Four. And what they lack in big names, they replace with desire. Battling through the Asian pools, this team now comes into a comfortable AT&T Park, where its manager Henry Mullins has a full-time job. An even stronger team now with the addition of the young superstar Jurickson Profar. They're looking to go 3-0 and into the final game. The Dominican Republic has been a machine. They have not lost a game, displaying clutch hitting, the long ball, and lights-out relief. Robinson Cano is batting .519. Nelson Cruz, Carlos Santana, they've delivered as well. They plan to leave Wednesday morning as champions and not before. The only thing these teams want to leave in San Francisco is their hearts. The right to play for the trophy next. Baseball fans around the world and all the ships at sea, we welcome you McCovey Cove outside of the home of the Giants in San Francisco. Two sets of the loudest fans you're ever going to hear. They'll be from the Dominican Republic and the Netherlands. They will match cheer for cheer, vocal cord for vocal cord. And on the field, we may see the same with the bats. The Netherlands and the Dominican Republic are ready to go. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne along with Rick Sucklet. The winner of this moves to the final game against Puerto Rico. It has been a World Baseball Classic of upsets.
Upsets. You know what? The Dominican Republic on paper right now is a huge favorite. But guess what? So was Japan last night. In this tournament this year, that means nothing.
Absolutely nothing, and that's all the Netherlands needs to hear to say, let it be us. We'd like to be the upset team here tonight.
Well, and the big name that we know for the Netherlands is that of Andrew Jones. This was the best center fielder that I ever saw. We know about the 10 consecutive Gold Gloves that he won for his defense, but oh yeah, he also in his career hit over 400 home runs. The Netherlands hope that there's more of that to come. Wow, when you think of Andrelton Simmons, this is going to be a star for a long, long time for the Atlanta Braves. I think already he's the best defensive shortstop in the game, and the offense soon will catch up with that as well.
Andrew Jones is really doing a great job here in the Classic, hitting .348. Look at the walks. He's been patient at the plate. Simmons has got the big average at .370. Perhaps most important at the bottom there, the 9 runs that he scored. And now for this team from the Netherlands, they've added another face.
Take a look at this guy, the versatility that they get with 21-year-old Jonathan Scope. He's played second base. He can play short. He's going to be at third base tonight. One thing we do know, he is a rising star for the Baltimore Orioles.
So those many young players will go up against a veteran team, and if there is a team to be favored throughout this whole tournament, it has been the Dominican Republic. They're trying to run the table. They are 6-0.
Well, and the reason they're favored is because of their second baseman, Robinson Cano. I think he's the best player by far in this tournament. And when you think about how much he means to the Dominican Republic, what he means to the New York Yankees, what he means to baseball, he has been the biggest surprise for me in this tournament. Not only the type of player he is, the type of person, but the leadership that he has shown. If you're a young kid, you're wanting to learn to play the game of baseball right, to be the right kind of person, that is an outstanding role model for you to look to. And look at the numbers that he has put up, and he's not done.
.519, a tremendous average, run 7, RBI 6, a chance maybe for 3 MVP trophies, 1 in each round. We'll see whether or not he can get that done. One of these teams move on. Bert Blyleven, the pitching coach for the Netherlands, Tony Pena, who's done a great job with his team from the Dominican Republic. It's really the veterans of the Dominican Republic and the youngsters of the Netherlands who match up in this game. Semi-final game number 2 is next. Back here in our city by the bay, San Francisco, home of course of the world champion San Francisco Giants. You're at AT&T Park where they play the Netherlands. and the Dominican Republic get to go at it tonight. Each of the starters and their manager brought out the flag with them when the starters were introduced. The Dominican Republic will be the home team, and it will be Volquez on the mound for them. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Netherlands. The Netherlands come in with 4 wins and 3 losses. Simmons at the top. He's been outstanding. Profar is going to get the first start here. He's just added to the roster. As you go down through it, Andrew Jones has played well. Kurt Smith has picked up a lot of RBIs. Jonathan Scope has been a great table setter for this team. It's a lineup where everybody has contributed for the Netherlands.
I tell you what, they get a lot better when you add Profar to that lineup. The lineup gets deeper, and you can see they're right-handed heavy, so they need the switch hitter up there. He's a special kind of player.
Edison Volquez, a Major League pitcher on the mound.
Gary, we've talked many times about how the Dominican Republic wanted another opportunity at the Netherlands after they eliminated them back in '09. One of the losses for the Dominican Republic to the Netherlands team was recorded by Edison Volquez. He, too, is at the top of the list as far as wanting some revenge.
29-year-old right-hander, and the defense that he will have behind him. Moises Sierra inserted into the lineup late after batting practice. Diaz has played a fine center field. Cruz in right. Maybe his big bat's going. Tejada gets the surprise start, perhaps. Jose Reyes will be at shortstop, as he's been throughout. Cano, of course, at second base. And Encarnacion will be at first. And behind the plate, he's caught them all. Carlos Santana. That's the defense, and we are ready to go. Light overcast skies, a little breeze blowing out towards right field as we start the ball game tonight. Very comfortable evening here in San Francisco. And the delivery, bunt shown, pitch will be taken up high for a ball, and we are underway. Simmons has had a tremendous classic with that .370 batting average, couple home runs, 6 RBIs, a big time on base percentage. Ball is thrown in here. That's another baseball that will be put away and kept as a memento. Bat boy coming out to get it. Simmons with a 9 for 24 leads the team in hits with 10. He leads the team in runs scored as he has picked up 9. So real important for him to set the table. Ducking down real low, clearly coming to the plate, intending to take a couple of pitches, and he does. Up high on that one, 2-0 count.
Well, I tell you another thing that's real important is for Volquez to get control of his emotions. You just think back to his last start against Italy when he walked the first 3 guys.
First innings have been a real problem for him this year and before, and don't think the Netherlands doesn't know it. So they take another pitch, and it's up high, and the count goes to 3-0. He started against Venezuela, had a good first inning, but could not return. A rain delay took him out of the ball game, and then, as Rick mentioned, against Italy, not a factor in a 4 1/3 inning performance. He gave up the 4 runs, 3 hits, 4 walks, and a strikeout, and there's a leadoff walk to start the ball game. That's something they long to get.
Okay, we did not come up with this key just immediately. This thing actually happened earlier today, and it's real simple. Last year, Volquez was the league leader. He tied with Romero for Toronto in the number of base on balls allowed. You've got to take a walk on the wild side, which means you've got to take some pitches early in the count, hoping that he gives you free passes as he just did.
And has done that, and now Miguel Tejada, the veteran, coming over to have a word with him. Let's see how this will get played. Hensley Meulens, the skipper of the Netherlands, whether he wants to start this ball game going for the early run or not. Santana's out there talking, or whether he will let Profar, is going to get his first at bat in here in the Classic, let him hit away. The manager, they are ranked 7th in international play, and in at third base is going to come Tejada. So Tejada's at third base, at least, is going to play for the bunt, and we'll see whether or not that in fact happens here. Profar getting the start at second base in this ball game tonight. Short lead at first for Simmons, at least early on. Bunt is shown, but they're going to make him throw a strike first, and he gets it in there for strike 1.
Gary, you mentioned the first at bat for Profar here in the World Baseball Classic. I'll never forget the first time I saw him have an at bat in person. That was back in July in Kansas City at that Futures game when he played for the World team. All he did was hit a long home run.
Profar's a tremendous talent, and that gets away. It'll be blocked. Simmons, Santana rather, will hold the runner, and Simmons will come back to the bag at first.
Nice stop there on the part of Carlos Santana. That changeup not even close to where the location was supposed to be. I talked to Bud Black today, the manager of the San Diego Padres, and of course Volquez. Volquez has got an opportunity to pitch opening day for the Padres team. And he said the thing about Volquez is that sometimes he throws too many fastballs. He's got to throw the off-speed pitch to bring the command back on that number 1.
And the throw over will get him back to the bag. Versus Italy, his first pitch of the game was a strike, and then he threw 12 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. Hasn't done that here exactly. He's got a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Profar. See if Profar meant it when he squared around on the first pitch. Here's the 1-1, runner not going, and he wasn't bunting, and the pitch will be taken inside for a ball.
Here, you know how when they talk about somebody has whatever it is, this guy has a lot of it standing at home plate right now. Just the ability at such a young age to slow the game down and normally do the right thing.
20 years old. 2-ball, 1-strike delivery to him. Profile, there's a great off-speed pitch. Changeup thrown, and he was way out in front of it.
That is exactly what Bud Black was talking about. To slow things down, sometimes he's got to slow the velocity of the pitch down. Profar thinking about going deep there with the big swing, completely fooled by that 2-1 changeup.
Can do that to the youngsters once in a while as they get anxious up there at the plate, and the veteran pitcher did. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Simmons off first. Profar waiting on it. That's going to get away, and the runner's going to move up. Tan had trouble finding it. Will hold the runner at second base, and the wild pitch puts a runner in scoring position.
I really don't understand why he would try to go to the breaking ball here. This is a curve ball. I mean, he has not thrown one of those for a strike as of yet. He just had a great feel for the changeup on the previous pitch. Nothing wrong. If you want to go soft, come right back with the pitch that you just executed. Kind of surprised right there. And to me, right now, the only thing he can command is that changeup. That's what I would be looking for here on the 3-2 pitch.
Tony Pena watching intently. Profar gets an RBI opportunity in his first at bat for the Netherlands, and a timeout will be taken. This Netherlands team has been about offense. They're hitting .274 as a club coming in. They've averaged 5 runs a ball game. Henley Mulin's team has needed to because their ERA is over 5.5, 5.64. So they've had to score. They did have one big blowout game against Japan that took those numbers way up pitching wise. But they've been able to hit the ball, and if they could get an early lead here, it would be another underdog team applying a little pressure early in the ball game. Simmons off second base. Profar. The outfield very shallow on him. Will take the pitch away, and he gets a walk. So Volquez has walked the first 2 in this ball game.
Here, I can't help but think back to last night when all the pressure in the world was on Puerto Rico, and yet right off the bat, after Pagan made the out, a couple of walks led to a 2-out base hit. They took the lead on that base hit by Aviles, and they never gave it up.
And that is the way he started that last ball game, and is doing it again here with these leadoff walks, not throwing strikes. Here is Bernardina coming up. You see 105 walks last season, tied for most with Ricky Romero. So this is not out of the ordinary, and early in the game is when a lot of those come. The infield again will play for the bunt here. Bernardino, the number 3 hitter, and Santana for the 3rd time with 3 batters is going out, and the fans kind of booing here. And Miguel Tejada will come in from third base.
Yeah, but it's more about Robinson Cano coming in right now saying, come on, this is the big leagues right now. This is the semifinals of the World Baseball Classic. Let's get it together.
So the meeting over, and Bernardina coming up having only a couple of hits and 18 at bats. He has picked up 3 RBIs for this ball club. Bernardina struck out 3 times and drawn 1 walk. Well, what a start here potentially for the Netherlands. They could get a run on early in this ball game. Volquez will look back to second. Does square. Pitch is taken up high for a ball.
We were both talking about it before the game today, Gary. We expect a lot more offense between these two teams than what we saw last night.
Bernardina's had one of the 7 sacrifices this Netherlands team has been able to put up on the board, even though he's their number 3 hitter. See if he'll square around again. Outfield playing him around to left field. 1-0 delivery to him. He does square. He'll take it for a strike. He was going to wait. They've done a good job hitting .333 with runners in scoring position. That's one of the reasons they've been able to average that 5 runs a ball game. They also have had more at bats than any team in the World Baseball Classic, so they're inclined to come to the plate swinging. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Runners off first and second base. Not bunting, and fouled it right straight back. Just missed. 1-2. Volquez does make it interesting at the start of a game. A lot of starting pitchers in the history of baseball. The first inning has been the one that they struggle through, just trying to get into a rhythm. There have been all kinds of things tried by major league pitchers to get through the first inning, going to the bullpen, pretending you're pitching the first inning out there, then coming in to pitch in the actual game. Nothing has ever really completely worked in that regard. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Takes it. Breaking ball will miss. 2-2.
You know, the thing I've seen with Volquez is he's so talented. I mean, he could go out there and just play catch and throw the fastball in the low 90s and have much better command. He just tries to do too much too early. Settle into the ball game. It's okay to give up a couple of hits in the first inning. Just kind of get your rhythm. The tempo that he sets for this game is just not good.
2 ball, 2 strike delivery. Bernardino reaching for it. Glove down. Volquez. He'll go to first. Well, it works as a sacrifice unintended. He looked at second, decided he didn't have time, and the runners move up.
I tell you, I think what went through his mind right there was, look, I haven't been able to throw a strike. There's no telling where I'm going to make this throw to second base. But that ball has got to go to second base. It's an easy throw. He had plenty of time to make the play and keep the double play in order. It's a one-hopper right there. I mean, the base runner profile was only about halfway there. You don't try to get 2. You just make sure that you get 1. That's a huge mental mistake, but I think what Volquez was worried about was the physical part of it, that he couldn't make the throw.
He looked afraid to throw the baseball.
Exactly.
So here's a big chance in the first inning with only 1 away. And Valentin, their cleanup batter, 6 for 19. He's picked up 4 RBIs and a chance for 2 more with a base hit. Valentin will take the pitch. It is away for a ball. There you see the .316 average that he has put up. He was originally signed by Seattle back in 2000. He's played 170 major league games with the Mariners and the Reds, and has played the last 2 years in the Japanese League with the Yakult Swallows. Here's the 1-0 delivery. He'll take that, and that is in there for a strike.
You know, another reason to keep that double play in order, the manager for the Netherlands, Hensley Mullins, was telling me before the game that Valentin has a little bit of a pulled groin. We may see a defensive replacement for him in the outfield as this game gets into the latter stages, but he's not going to be able to go at full blast down that first base line if he hits a ground ball.
He missed 1 game here in the Classic because of that groin problem. That is taken down low for a ball. They want his bat in the lineup, so we'll go as far as they can with him. Boy, Volquez is making it tough on Santana, the catcher, here in the first inning.
Well, remember when we saw that down in Miami? He did the same kind of thing.
That's okay if you mix some strikes in with the pitches you're throwing, especially if you get ahead of the hitter early and then throw some of those in the dirt. But that's not the way he's been working these games. 2 in scoring position. First inning, only 1 away. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And a ground ball, runner coming. Play is going to be made by Reyes over to first base to get the out. A run will score. The RBI, Valentin will get it, his 5th RBI of the Classic, and a 1-0 lead for the Netherlands.
And the only reason that he gets that RBI and the inning is not over was because of the fact that Volquez would not make that throw and get the force out at second base.
So they're able to pick up the run without getting a hit. They had 2 walks. The failure to make the double play, and then a ground ball out. And they've got a 1-0 lead runner at third, and there are 2 down.
A ton of pressure right now on Santana. First of all, Volquez wants to go from the windup here. Profar will think about stealing home, but that wild pitch.
Here's Jones. He will take it for a ball. He has been the leader of this team, referred to as the father by some of the players with a smile on their face. He said, "I'm not old enough for that." Some of the players said, "Yes, you are. We've never even seen you play." Here's the 1-0 delivery, and it's taken outside for a ball. But he's been a real leader on this team. He's rarely been outspoken in his major league career and rarely smiled like that in games. But here in this World Baseball Classic, he has found himself a role. He's had a lot of action, obviously, in Major League Baseball, and certainly their leader in that department. He's DHing in this game. 2-0 delivery to him is a fastball that's in there for a strike, 2-1.
We were also told that Andrew Jones during the offseason made a lot of phone calls trying to help put this team together.
He was the one who brought along a lot of the young players who were a bit reluctant. Oh, down the line. Here's a ball put up in the air to left field. It'll be over near the line. Moises Sierra and into the stands, and I think he's got it. He did. What a catch. Beautiful play by Sierra, who was not supposed to be starting in this game. He was inserted after batting practice. Tony Pena went through the lineup all last night and all today trying to figure out who to start in left field. Tony Pena had a gut reaction. It worked. Dominican pitchers, first run they've surrendered in 17 innings. Netherlands get on top. And we'll see what the Dominican bats can do here. Take a look at their lineup. Reyes has been tremendous throughout this tournament. Cano's been their leader overall. Cruz has found the long ball. We'll see if that continues.
Big league names there from top to bottom for Tony Pena's team. And as always with Nelson Cruz, he's been a streaky type hitter. He's in a good streak so far in this World Baseball Classic.
And Tony Pena's club behind a run early in the ball game will face a left-hander. Diego Markwell is his name. Left-hander ready to go against Reyes, who showed bunt. Will take the pitch up high for a ball.
Really more of a command type guy, crafty, a little bit of deception to that left-handed delivery of his.
He'll miss outside with that one. He is not a pitcher, at least in the last year, who gave up a lot of walks. He went 11-1 in 80 innings, gave up 19 walks, struck out 62. He will get that pitch in there for a strike. And the way he's starting, it looks as though he was watching the game last night. He's getting the ball back and throwing it right back in, taking no time between pitches.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
A great performance. Bunted, foul. Reyes will come back, trying to bunt his way on. Great catch made out in left field to end that last inning by Moises Sierra.
You know, particularly when you think about who the guy was standing at home plate, and that's the #1 power source of the Netherlands, Andrew Jones, with over 400 career home runs. Just a terrific effort there on the part of Sierra, staying focused on that baseball and not worrying about his body.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery to Reyes up high. That glove of the fan actually got between his glove and the ball and somehow went through. That is great concentration.
I couldn't help but think of the Chicago Cubs and Bartman.
Yeah. And he pops him up to right center field. Valentin coming in, and he's got it. Reyes is retired, one down.
And you know what made me think of that was, you know, since we were in Miami watching and following the team from the Dominican Republic, there it was. Everybody will remember that particularly the Chicago Cub fans, and being around Moises Salou, the general manager of the team from the Dominican Republic, was the player who tried to make that catch
and scream bloody murder when he couldn't. Here's Miguel Tejada. The veteran with a left-hander on the mound gets kind of a surprise start in this game. Tejada's gone 4 for 13 in the opportunities that he's had. He's been in and out of the lineup, and the pitch will be taken away. Inside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Gary, not only surprised me that he was in the lineup, but it surprised me that he was playing third base and not Hanley Ramirez.
Yep. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss as he had an off-speed breaking ball right there.
Well, in talking to Bert Blyleven, the pitching coach for the Netherlands, I mean, anytime he's in charge of a staff, there's going to be a lot of people with good breaking balls. That's what we just saw there from Markwell, and you're going to see a lot of it here tonight.
1 ball, 2 strike count. And Miggy will foul that one right straight back. Markwell signed with the Blue Jays when he was 16 years old. He's the nephew of Andrew Jones. He played a lot of minor league ball for 9 years. He had a 55-47 record in the minors with a 4.31. He never went above Double-A ball. He pitched Double-A ball for 2 years and then went back and has been pitching in the Dutch League since, and obviously has done very well there. 1-2 delivery, and that will be fouled off. It'll stay at 1-2 on Tejada.
You know, Gary, as you were down there leaning on the batting cage watching the Netherlands hit, I was standing right next to Markwell and didn't know it was him. I mean, we've seen him before. This guy is in the best shape I've ever seen him in. He seems to have lost 30 or 40 pounds, and he was leaning on the cage just enjoying himself, feeling absolutely no pressure.
1-2 delivery will come inside. You don't see many starting pitchers who are hanging around the batting cage before a game.
Oh, they might be in the outfield shagging, just getting loose, or most of the time they're in the clubhouse, hiding in the trainer's room or the players' lounge.
He was more like a fan out there today. 2 ball, 2 strike out. Tejada with Cano waiting on deck. That ball's put up in the air to left field. Sams has it lined up. And there are 2 down. Well, that'll bring up Robinson Cano, and if ever the adage in baseball, you find a guy in a lineup you don't want to beat you, here he is. There isn't any question Robinson Cano right now for the Dominican Republic is that player who you do not want to beat you in a game.
Well, and what that means is make sure that when he does come up, there's nobody on base. And Markwell doing a terrific job coming back to get Reyes and then getting Tejada once again out in front of one of those dangerous curves.
14 hits, a new high for the World Baseball Classic. And he's taking all the way, and that is a strike. Just walked away from the plate, did Cano on that one. Couple of home runs, 6 RBIs. This team from the Dominican has been about offense along with a great bullpen. They've outscored opponents 29-13. They've out-homered them 7-2. And that pitch is in there for a strike, and it goes to 0-2.
You can see the fastball right now anywhere from 82 possibly to 87. Bert Blyleven telling us earlier today. Couple of different breaking balls. He will use the changeup, not normally to a left-handed hitter.
0-2 the count on Cano. They play straight up in the outfield and deep, and he'll ask for a timeout. Markwell started and got the win over Korea the first round. 4 scoreless innings, 2 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts. Then he got the victory over Cuba, 6-2 that they won, and he worked 6 innings, only a run on 9 hits, 1 walk in that ball game, and no strikeouts. As this team from the Netherlands with those victories against Cuba really made the difference. Those were the, as far as most of the experts were concerned, it was the victories against Cuba that made the difference for the Netherlands. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Off speed delivery, fouled away. Markwell doesn't appear to be afraid to throw strikes.
You know, he too had a little bit of a problem with the first hitter Reyes, kind of getting things to settle down, but was able to gain his composure, and on that 3-2 pitch make a nice pitch to get the out, and then he's not made the same mistake again, jumping ahead of the last 2 hitters.
Cano trying to slow him down a little bit.
You got to throw that fastball in at some point to Robinson Cano to get him off of that breaking ball. He had a real good swing at that last pitch.
High comments for Ricardo, who is doing the catching. Dushenko Ricardo, veteran catcher who does control a ball game, and generally pitchers, they just look at what he wants and deliver. Here's the 1-2 delivery, breaking ball way outside, bounced, and that'll take it to 2-2.
I know one thing too about having been a teammate for a couple of years with Bert Blyleven. He believes in pitching in. The best curveball that I ever saw he possessed, but what he did to set that curveball up more times than not was get people off the plate. He not only did it when he was on the hill, but as a pitching coach he insists upon it.
A lot of pitches being thrown early, minimum of 6 to the first 3 hitters, and he's going to add another one here. Good eye by Cano. It is taken outside, so a full count, 3-2.
And the one thing we know, great hitters like Robinson Cano, the longer of a look they get at a pitcher, the better their chances are to succeed. He has seen everything now that Markwell possesses.
And here's the 3-2 delivery. He came right in with it, and a base hit. So Cano continues now. 14 hits, 15 hits, and 28 at bats. This one comes with 2 down. Take a look at the D that we will see for the Netherlands. Sams, you saw out there in left field handling a fly ball. Bernardino has got some experience in center and a very good arm. Valenti will make the start in right. They've got Jonathan Scope at third, Simmons at short, Profar at second base, and Kurt Smith, who's had a good bat at first, and Ricardo behind the plate. They are loaded with shortstops, so they had to divide them up, put them somewhere. Different positions, and just hope they can field those here in the Classic. Now with a runner on, here's Encarnacion, 5 for 20, 3 RBIs. Breaking ball will just miss outside. Defense for the Netherlands has been solid. They have not hurt their pitching staff. Profar coming into the pitcher, the 20-year-old. 22nd pitch of the inning coming up here. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Profar wanted to know where to position himself on what was going to be delivered by Markwell. It's pretty good for a 20-year-old.
Oh, it really is. And you were talking about that infield defense. Henley Mullins before the game was telling me, when you watch them take infield, he said it's like watching the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, they are that good, and they know it, and they love to show it.
1-1 delivery on the way. That'll be a ground ball towards third. Force at second base. Scope goes there. Profar takes it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Netherlands looking to advance to the title game, leading it early. That is Felipe Alou closest to you, and Mullins on the other side. Alou tossing out the first pitch. Special assistant to the Giants, Brian Sabian, their GM, and the first Dominican manager in Major League history when he managed the Expos in 1992. He also skippered the Dominican team in the 09 Classic. There he is, right in the middle. Tony La Russa is on the right. Sabian way over on the left. There's Alou, Felipe Alou, here to throw out the first pitch for this game.
Of course, one of the all-time great families. Felipe Alou, Matty Alou, Jesus Alou. And as you know, Gary, I played in the Dominican a couple of years, and Jesus Alou and Manny Mota were like, they were really like second fathers to me. Tony Pena teases me that I'm part Dominican. I might be. I absolutely loved being down there. I loved Santo Domingo and really grew up there. I mean, that's where it all started to come together for me, playing winter ball.
Great baseball family. Kurt Smith leading it off here against Volquez. Will try and settle it down. Smith 9 for 24, a homer, 4 RBIs. Smith will take the pitch up high for a ball. Smith came to the World Classic without a major league contract of any kind or a minor league deal. He has been signed by the Minnesota Twins to a minor league contract. So when he gets done, he's got a place to go, and maybe helped out by the performance. 2-2 delivery on the way to him. Smith to short. That'll be handled in the fly. Reyes has got that one down. Well, let's take a look at the Netherlands. Let's see how they made it here to the semifinal game. First round 2-1, advanced through the tiebreaker rule. Second round they went 2-2. They defeated Cuba twice. What we were talking about, their 15 doubles, leads the World Baseball Classic. And an opportunity for another upset here in this upset classic. Hensley Mullins, their manager, and the batting coach for the Giants.
And you know what? They absolutely, to a man, rave about their skipper and the job that Hensley Mullins has done. I talked to Bruce Bochy a couple of days ago, of course, the manager of the Giants, and he said it's no surprise to him. He said that his hitting coach is ready to take over and manage at the big league level. He's one of the most positive people Bochy said he's ever been around. He's never had a bad day. He knew that the guys were going to love playing for him. And Boch talked about last year during the regular season, right here in San Francisco, he was knighted.
And Scope will take the pitch inside.
Boch said if he wins this tournament,
he'll be king.
There's no telling. And I'll tell you another thing about Hensley. He was selected from the Netherlands. He's going to get to go up in a spaceship or have to go up there. I don't know whether it's get to or have to.
Pitch is taken, and that is in there for a strike. Well, Curaçao, we'll talk about Curaçao because it has provided half of the players on this Netherlands team. They are clearly have already made the trip to space and came back, and apparently a little different than when they left. Here's the 3-1 delivery. That's foul back into the screen. The reason I brought Curaçao up is that Curaçao is developing, has built a station for space travel, where private entrepreneurs are going to be able to launch spaceships. It's part of the business environment that they are moving to. It's called the Lynx rocket plane. It will be flying in January of next year on suborbital space tourism flights and scientific research missions from Curaçao. Hensley's going to get a shot at trying it out. That's going to be in the dugout, and there'll be no play on that.
And you know what? For the first time right now, with you saying that, do I actually believe that Bruce Bochy wasn't pulling my leg?
You didn't believe him.
I said, let me tell you something. I'm going to say that on the air, and if you're fooling me right now, I'll kill you. I swear I will.
No, you can tell him. You can go back and tell him. Well, it's part of the Lynx program, Boch. It's the new technology in Curaçao that they're turning to. I think I'll wait and let him go first.
Yeah, let me know.
He comes back.
Let me know how it is.
Jonathan Scope, 6 for 24, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Scope, Baltimore Orioles shortstop of the future. 3-2 delivery on the way to him, and Scope will ground that one too short. Reyes has got it. 2 down.
Jerry, you said it perfectly in that first inning. There's certain things that pitchers have to do to get ready to start the game, and it's pretty obvious that Volquez has not figured that first inning out yet. And if you're going to be a guy for the Padres that goes out there and pitches opening day, you're going to be lined up for the first month against everybody else's best pitcher, which means normally you get that 6th, 7th inning. It's going to be 1-0, 2-1.
Yep. Here's Kalian Sams. Volquez has thrown only one first strike to the hitters so far. 2 down, and he won't add another one there. Sams has been their leader in runs scored. He has crossed the plate 7 times. He's gone 5 for 19, has 3 RBIs. Sams played Double-A ball for the Mariners in Jackson. Hit .242 with 11 homers last year. Breaking ball strike in the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sams out of The Hague in the Netherlands. Hitting in the number 8 spot in the lineup. Ricardo, the catcher, is on deck. 2 down. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Sams on a big cut fouls it off.
Yeah, you talked about Simmons already in this classic, having scored 9 runs. That's more than anybody else during the 2013 World Baseball Classic. But how about this? I mean, thinking about Sams hitting down there at the bottom of the order, hitting 8th again tonight. He's 2nd for the Netherlands with 7 runs scored.
He is a world-class sprinter. I hope we get to see him run. 1-2 delivery up high. He actually worked out with the Olympic team with the Netherlands and could have gone, but chose to play baseball. I mean, he's got world-class speed. He can absolutely fly, but decided he wanted to play baseball instead. Sams with a 2-ball, 2-strike count on him. And a towering pop-up third base side. Tejada in fair territory, puts it away. That'll retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the 2nd. The winner of this faces Puerto Rico in the championship game. Dominican, how they got here? 3-0 record, outscoring 19-8 first round, second round 3-0. Allowed 1 run the last 26. Bullpen has been magnificent. It's a bullpen any major league team would like to have.
Tony Pena was talking about, I might not only need 3 innings out of my starter with the ability that he has down there and the great arms.
And the pitch will be taken by Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez, Cruz, and Santana do up against Markwell. The designated hitter in this game, Ramirez, is 3 for 17. 2 of his 3 hits have been home runs.
You know, and I was just thinking that as I look at the next couple of hitters, the only run that Markwell has given up has been a solo home run. And you got to figure with his lineup, he's going to give up a couple of homers to these guys. It's just inevitable. No harder than he throws, he's going to make a mistake. But you've got to make sure that they're solo home runs. And with that first run in the first inning, even a solo home run right now, all that's going to do is tie the game. It will not put your team behind.
2 ball, 1 strike count. And that'll be outside. Markwell has got to go deep in this game if the Netherlands are going to have a chance to win it. Their bullpen is not very good, in a word, when you compare it to the team, the offense that the Dominican Republic has. So he's got to go deep to get to a couple of guys late in the ball game. And he will surrender the walk here to Ramirez. Leadoff walk given up. Umpiring crew, 6 umpires working. Wally Bell, Major Leagues, has the plate. Trevor Grieve down at first. Ted Barrett, Major League umpire, at second. Paul Hyam will make the calls at third base. Bill Miller of the U.S. is out in left field. And Edgar Estavizion in right field.
I got a feeling that tomorrow night it's going to be Mr. Ted Barrett behind home plate. The World Baseball Classic final.
His turn. Here's Cruz. He will take the pitch outside for a ball. Ted Barrett right there, all snug and warm here.
Sold it for the first time. He has become a crew chief.
Yep. Good for him.
Congratulations. He deserves it. One of the best. One of the great guys too.
Ramirez over there at first, held. Cruz, the right fielder, has gone 9 for 25. He has picked up 6 RBIs. 1-0 delivery on the way to him, and that breaking ball is going to be on the inside corner for a strike. Cruz, as you can see, not particularly happy about the call.
I think he was upset with himself there. That looked to be center cut with that breaking ball there. He was just kind of talking to himself there. Maybe he thought it was a little bit low, but that's not where it crossed home plate.
1-1 delivery on the way. That ball is going to be taken inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Much has been made of the fact that this is a rematch between 2 teams who went against one another, where the Netherlands upset the Dominican Republic twice to send them packing, and they get an opportunity, the Dominican Republic now, to get back against them. They won 3-2 and 2-1 in defeating the Dominican Republic in those ball games in 09. Both were shocking wins for the Netherlands against the Dominican Republic, and the errors really hurt. 6 errors by the Dominicans in that ball in those games.
Well, you know, the big thing that jumps out at me is that they only scored 3 runs. In 19 innings now, the Netherlands has only allowed the Dominican Republic to score 3 runs. That's just unheard of with that lineup.
A lot of the players are different for both of these teams, but the memory lives, especially for the fans. Runner at first, 3-1 count, nobody out, they got him. Had him moving the other way, and Ramirez is tagged out. And there's the second big play we've had in this game of the defense.
That is a horrible scouting report on the part of the Dominican Republic. Bert Blyleven was telling us earlier today that this is the best pickoff move in baseball. It will remind you of Andy Pettitte, and you cannot pick anybody off by more than that. He was not going anywhere, and somebody had to tell him about this pickoff move, or he would not have been caught. You can't get more than a step off of first base. That's absolutely horrible on the part of the team of the Dominican Republic to get caught there.
The big play, ground ball towards the middle. Simmons has got it. He'll make the play. Cruz is retired, and there are 2 down. We had the big catch that was made on the other side by Sierra to end the first inning, going into the seats in left, and now we get a pickoff here to take the leadoff runner off base in the inning.
It's an outstanding move here. For the longest time, it looks like he's going to home plate. You saw how his head turned to home. But the big thing was how he set that up. Just a couple of nonchalant, not really good moves to first, and then he throws the good one on him to get him.
So here is Carlos Santana, switch hitting catcher, fouls that one back over the screen. Santana 5 for 16, couple of home runs, 3 RBIs. Santana's caught them all. He's been behind the plate for the Dominican for all of their games, starting them.
Got a little bit of a break in that victory over Puerto Rico in the final game down in Miami. Got the last couple of innings off, but he did stick around long enough to hit a solo home run to give him the early lead.
Yep. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Santana will take it inside, and he's had a staff that has bounced a lot of balls off him when he's been behind the plate. It's been a tough classic for him. 26-year-old. Going to go back to the Cleveland Indians, and that pitch is going to be taken outside, and the question is, what will he be doing when he goes back to the Cleveland Indians? Terry Francona, their new manager, will decide whether he's going to catch, be a DH, do a little bit of both, maybe play a little bit of first base. That was left up in the air when he left the ball club in spring training. 2-2's fouled off.
Take a look at the beating that he caught there. I remember that sequence. That was the left elbow there. That was the right shin. He was down for a while after that. Now we went from the left elbow to the left shoulder.
He's ripped a couple of foul balls here, and the count stays 2-ball, 2-strike count.
And Gary, you remember, as bad as Volquez beat him up in the first start, I mean, DeNuno was just as bad, bouncing the breaking ball. He actually bounced a couple of fastballs that made contact with Santana.
Here's the 2-2 delivery to him. He puts that one in the air to left field, and Sams is there to put it away. So a key defensive play after a leadoff walk to Ramirez, a pickoff. Only 3 batters faced by Markwell. Netherlands leads. What a great view of AT&T Park here in San Francisco, right on the water's edge. The toughest ballpark to hit a home run in the majors.
And Hensley Mullins was telling us before the game that he took every one of his outfielders out, starting at the 399 mark in dead center field, and he took them to the right field foul pole, explaining how this ballpark plays, because from that area, from the 399 to the right, it's different than any place anybody's ever been before.
We go to the 3rd inning. Here's Ricardo, the catcher, 4 for 19 with a couple of RBIs having been picked up. Top of the order, Simmons waiting on deck. Now Ricardo will loop that one foul as Volquez kept it away from him. Ricardo played 6 major league seasons before released by the Giants in the off year. 253 low A ball last year. That's a strike on the outside corner.
As you well know, Gary, just never been able to do anything offensively. In fact, at one point the Giants tried him on the mound to see if he couldn't develop into being a pitcher.
He's only 23 years old. 1-2 delivery, and he got fooled on that in a very late cut.
I learned a long time ago, you either need to throw a breaking ball or hit a breaking ball. And that's the problem right there. You can see it. It's almost like he's allergic to spin. He buckled on that pitch and then absolutely no chance to make contact with it. I was laughing at Robinson Cano today. His dad, when he was younger, told him that you're too slow to be an everyday player. You've got to learn how to pitch. So Cano got on the mound and he said, I was doing all right. I could throw strikes. I had a curveball. But he said, then I all of a sudden figured out that, you know, before a pitcher gets on the mound, he's got to do a lot of running. Robinson said, I didn't like that running. I told Dad I wasn't going to pitch anymore. You know what? You don't have to run real fast when you hit doubles and homers.
Here's the 1-0 delivery. That'll be taken outside. Simmons drew the walk in the first inning and scored on the ground ball out by Valentin. The much talked about Andrelton Simmons, the Atlanta Braves, missed 56 games with a hand injury last year, but he's going to be in the lineup this year for the Braves. He's out of Western Oklahoma State Junior College. Pops that one up shallow right field. Cruz will come on. He's got it. And there are 2 down. And we are proud to have one of the world's most recognizable blimps provide coverage of today's game. The unique aerial views of the World Baseball Classic delivered live from our friend and I in the sky. MetLife's Snoopy 2.
Now that's something I'd be excited to do. That spaceship thing.
This one's a little closer to Earth.
Yeah. Let me get a look from what that's like up there.
Hey, Snoop. There are 2 down. Here's Jurickson Profar. Profar drew a walk his first time out, making his debut with this team, joining them for the games here in San Francisco. They had 2 injuries, needed replacements, and he is one of them. Kelly Jansen is the other, and Jansen is here. Last break before the game about that. Wife just had a baby, but he did make it in.
He did. He got in late last night, and I tell you what, between him and Profar, this team got a lot better, and they were already obviously pretty good to get here.
1-0 delivery on the way. Profar will take that. The off-speed delivery is in there for a strike. Volquez continuing to struggle with those first pitches.
And that's not good. That's not good at all. And that's really been the Achilles heel for him throughout his career.
1-1 delivery, and Profar with a big cut. Got Santana's mask and corkscrewed himself right into the batter's box.
Look at the power that he possesses. I mean, it's just a simple, quick swing. It's not a long swing at all, but the extension on that.
One of the 3 shortstops, Bogart, Simmons, and Profar, who are all on this team. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down, nobody on. Netherlands leading at 1-0. And we'll take the pitch inside for a ball.
Really a tough situation for Profar. I mean, he's going to go back to the minor leagues because of the fact that Elvis Andrus is at shortstop and should be, and Ian Kinsler's at second base. There's no place for him to play right now.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way. One of those, Rick, where you just stay ready. That one caught the umpire, Wally Bell. You never know. All you need is one injury to occur, and suddenly you're there.
Look at this. I think Santana finally said, I've had enough. I don't want anything to do with that. And right off the right knee of the home plate umpire, Wally Bell.
Well, Santana's giving the umpire a chance to regroup.
It's hard to believe that at 29 years of age and all of the experience that Volquez has, that things can get away from him like that.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Profar's got some pretty good patience for a young hitter. He'll go down, though, in that off-speed breaking ball, and that will be the second strikeout for Volquez, both coming in the inning. He sets the side down in order. Netherlands continues to lead it 1-0. And we welcome you back as the sun is setting here in San Francisco, AT&T Park. And we want to remind you, WorldBaseballClassic.com is where you can go bookmark it. It is your one-stop source for news, video highlights, online shopping, jerseys, caps, collectibles. Shop 24/7. Get the colors of your country on WorldBaseballClassic.com. And the pitch to Sierra is taken up high. Always cool here in San Francisco this time of year. In fact, almost every time of year. It's one of the things that makes it great. It's very comfortable here at the ballpark, but you got to put on a little sweater and maybe a hat. Keep yourself warm. 58 coming in.
The line, like the coldest I've ever been, was June in San Francisco.
The best weather here is in the fall.
Yeah.
When you get through September, October, November, that's when it really warms up here. Wind blowing out towards right field tonight.
You know what? We've been spending the last 2 out of the last 3 falls right here, so we know that well.
Yeah, World Series, Giants hope they'll get another chance at it here as you look out into McCovey Cove and the shot from on high.
Boy, it's so much nicer here. It's just so much more comfortable for the fans and the players than it was at the other place, Old Candlestick.
The other place. Fly ball to center field by Sierra. Bernardina's there. He's got it. Sierra's retired. The other place is Candlestick Park.
Yeah. I mean,
It was a little cold out there.
Oh, I remember getting knocked off the mound because of I'm 6'7", 250 pounds, and the wind could actually knock you down from time to time trying to take your windup.
There is the stick. That little harbor out there, indicative of the weather. That's one of the best windsurfing places in the world, is right there. But it's not a very good place to play baseball.
It's not. Or watch a baseball game. Ugh.
When they moved the Giants out here, the story used to go Horace Stoneham, who was going to buy and move the team, they took him out there at noontime. And at noontime, it's wonderful. It's quiet. There's no wind. And they made sure they got him out of there before 3 o'clock. Because after that, the fog comes in, the wind blows, and it is cold. And I heard they're tearing it down next year. They're not going to play football there anymore, and so they're going to tear down the stick. To which you said?
There's not going to be any tears shed here.
Diaz's fly ball will go to center. Bernardina's there. He's got it. Diaz is retired. 2 quick outs on fly balls by Diego Markwell in the 3rd inning. I think it was a plantain. Here's Jose Reyes. Reyes flying out to right field his first time up, and a strike taken. Reyes has had a big tournament, 7 for 28. Home run, couple of RBIs. Markwell, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Pitch will be taken outside. Pitcher is the key here if this Netherlands team's going to hang in against the Dominican.
Well, and the key to success for Markwell, they've seen it the first time through the lineup. It's going to be those breaking balls, in particular his curveball. He's not going to throw any more fastballs for strikes than he has to. Occasionally use it early in the count. Bert Blyleven has given all of these guys an outstanding answer to the test. This is what you need to do.
That ball's going to go to center, and that will fall in for a base hit. So Reyes will make the big turn and stay. He gets the single with 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Their 2nd hit.
Being patient, trying to work the count, seeing that the first 2 guys up in the inning had both made outs, wanting to work the pitch count a little bit, and then the confidence that Reyes has to hit when he's behind in the count. There was another breaking ball. Not one of the better sliders, though, from Markwell.
So 2 hits on the board now for the Dominican. Keep in mind, Netherlands scored their run in the 1st inning without a hit. They don't have one. They are 1-0-0. The Dominican 0-2-0.
Be careful over there at first base.
Miguel Tejada flied out to left field his first time up. 4 for 14 in the Classic. Reyes has seen the pickoff move. Bunted. Why? I don't know. It is caught. That's the out in the inning. Miguel Tejada trying to bunt his way on here in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. Wow.
He's got to know better than that. You got to try to drive in the tying run in that situation.
Sunset time, and a great shot from the blimp with the park and the water and the boat and the Snoop. Snoop on hand on the field between innings.
Look at that, giving away little Snoop dolls to, I'm sure, a lot of the boys and girls here tonight.
We go to the 4th inning. Netherlands leading it. Here is Roger Bernardina. Bernardina grounded out his first time up, number 3 hitter. He did, however, move the runners up with that ground ball back to the mound when Velquez didn't make the play at second to try and turn 2 and set up that run that was scored. Here's the 0-1. Still looking for their first hit, the Netherlands. We want to extend a special hello to the folks in the Netherlands. The semifinal game is the first World Baseball Classic game ever to be aired live on free television in the Netherlands. Netherlands 1. Reaching some 7 million households carrying the ball game early in the morning. Started at 2 a.m. in the Netherlands. And to those, of course, watching in the Dominican, hoping their team can come away with the championship here in the World Baseball Classic. 2 special audiences. I hope you're enjoying the ball game, and so far a good one. We thought we'd see tons of offense. What we've seen so far is 2 hits by the Dominican and 1 run without a hit by the Netherlands. Shows how much we know. Pitch taken up high. And in this World Baseball Classic don't predict.
I just think the biggest thing we've noticed is that there's a lot more balance than there's ever been. You know, they were talking about the team from Spain. Now, even though they didn't win a game in that second round, I mean, they competed.
They were tough. That's a little roller, going to be a tough play. Gloved, couldn't get it out of the glove. Does in time on a little looping throw by Volquez to get the out.
You know, I didn't know this before, but I think Mr. Volquez has a little bit of problem fielding his position. I mean, he's a little bit shaky on this. Did not get off in a hurry, and then a little bit hesitant about getting it out of his glove and not making the best throw in the world. On the other hand, Diego Marquel, there's not a better fielding pitcher in the game of baseball anywhere than him.
Records the out, one down. Valentin, RBI, ground ball out, his 5th RBI recorded in his first at bat. Mentioned about the groin problem he's got, and he did not play the last game in Japan because of it. Took that game off, let it rest a little bit, now back and playing and hitting in that cleanup hole. 1-0 count, one down. And that ball is ripped. Will it stay fair? And no. It is caught, however.
He might not be 100% with that groin. It's going to bother him to run the bases, going to bother him a little bit defensively, but it's no bother whatsoever with that swing. Just foul.
31 home runs, 81 RBIs. Playing for the Yakult Swallows in the Japanese League last year. Outside corner, great pitch. 1-2. Valentin arguing about it, or at least commenting on it with Wally Bell.
I think home plate's been moving around a little bit for both sides. Wally Bell up to this point has been a little bit inconsistent tonight.
Outfield backs up a couple of steps after that last foul ball. Here's the 1-2 delivery to him, and that's in the dirt.
After watching Volquez on that last play and shaky making that throw, you mentioned it earlier, Hensley Mullins during the regular season for the Giants is their hitting coach. They talk about creating offense. Some of the guys in his lineup that can run, I'd be thinking about trying to bunt for a base hit, or possibly get Volquez to throw it away.
Valentin's 2-2 delivery will be down low to him, and the count will go to 3-2. So Volquez, couple of walks, couple of strikeouts. He is not allowed a base runner to reach those, so the second batter of the ball game.
That's hard to believe, because he now has thrown more balls than he has strikes in the 63 pitches thus far tonight.
He's retired the last 10 batters faced. 3-2 delivery on the way, and make it 11. Got him. As struck him out for the 3rd K.
And I think he struck him out on what would have been ball 4. It's a changeup that's up in his eyes. And probably off the inside part of the plate as well.
Big cut. 2 down. Here's Andrew Jones coming up. Jones flied out to left field. A great catch made by Sierra to end that first inning when he went into the stands to get it. Ground ball towards the middle, and a base hit. Reyes dove for it, could not get it. Jones has got his 9th hit of this Classic. He's 9 for 25.
Yeah, he was robbed that first at bat on a terrific play by Sierra. Fell behind in that at bat, not taking a chance on that here. He's always been a guy that seeked the fastball, and anytime he got it, a situation where he thought he could handle it, he had that big swing at it.
So that'll bring up Curt Smith with a runner on. That is their first hit. They got a run before they got a hit, well before. Smith lined out to short, his first time up, 2 down. Big jump at first. Whoa. I think that took Smith right out of the at-bat. Jones down at first base took about 5 running steps.
Tell you what, Gary, that makes me think of last night in Uchikawa. I mean, he talked about it today, how bad he felt. He was the one that got picked off. He thought Ibata was going to take off and steal third. He easily had second, but Ibata did exactly the same thing that Andrew Jones did there. For some reason, he stopped.
And a ground ball, not hit hard. Force play at second, and Tejada will get it over to Cano. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one left on base. 8 pitches duel underway. Semi-final game. Netherlands on top, 1-0. Looking for a couple of kayaks out there. Usually in McCovey Cove during the season is at least 1 or 2. They sit out there during the game and try and catch the floating home runs that are hit. Only 62 home runs have ever been hit in the McCovey Cove.
Not near as busy out there as it once was when Barry Bonds was in that giant uniform.
Well, we'll leave that right where it is. There's that 62 number. There's the guy with a kayak right ahead of us when we came in today. He's headed out there somewhere. Bonds with that mark down the line, and a foul ball right off the bullpen mound. Robinson Cano leading it off here. He's already got a single in the ball game. Encarnacion and Ramirez due up.
I really think this is a big part of the game, Gary, for the Dominican Republic. In all likelihood, unless they have a big offensive inning, it's going to be the last time that they get an opportunity to face Markwell. You get down in there to the bullpen. I know it's not the Dominican bullpen, but you're going to have Boyd, the side armor. You're going to have Van Mill, the 7-footer, and then Jansen, the guy that throws 100. So if they're going to get something done, particularly after Cano, this is the time where these guys have to try to do that.
Tony Pena waiting for these bats on this team to come alive. They came in hitting .291, averaging 4.9 runs a ball game. 0-1 delivery. Cano in the big cut. It's the Cano finish last year we've seen in this classic. He finished up regular season, last 9 games of the Yankees, hitting .615. He had 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. It's what happened in between that nobody can understand. In the postseason, Cano last year, a complete disaster. 3 for 40 for the Yankees in the postseason as their entire team went into a postseason funk. Even Cano. 0-2 delivery, and that'll miss down low, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
I'll give you a couple of names. Verlander, Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez. Those names have put a lot of people into an offensive slump, including the great ones.
Even Cano. 1-ball, 2-strike count to him. Left-hander's delivery and a chopper to second base. Profile will make the flip over to first. Cano's retired. 1 down, bottom of the 4th inning. 2 of the most offensive teams in the World Baseball Classic, finding it very hard to do anything offensive in this game.
Yeah, you were talking about how Curt Smith had an opportunity because of how well he's played here. He signed with the Minnesota Twins. Ricardo and his defense signed with the Dodgers. I tell you what, there's not. When you look at Markwell, I mean, particularly being from the left side.
Shallow right field. Valentine was very deep. He's got it. Wind blowing out to right, and that looked like it picked that ball up a little bit, or he lost it, A or B, or both. 2 down.
I tell you what I love right now. We're seeing a couple of young middle infielders, but they already know how to take charge. And right off the bat during infield, it was Simmons that was telling everybody it's a little bit tough in the sky right now. So everybody help as much as you can. The fact that Profar ran out there almost like he was trying to make that play, but he continued to point at the baseball just in case Valentine had lost it for a second, and knowing how important that out would be.
And a big one. Profar plays well above his age, maturity-wise. And there are 2 down. And here's Hanley Ramirez, the DH. Drew a walk his first time up, strike on the outside corner to him.
There might be 4 teams in all of baseball that Jurix and Profar would not be the starting shortstop for right now.
And that's in there for a strike. Markwell, 0-2.
All right, he's not going to start for the Atlanta Braves. I mean, Simmons is going to be there for the next, I would say, 15 years. And he's going to win a Gold Glove probably most of those years. He's not going to start for the Yankees. He doesn't start for Texas. Having a hard time thinking of anywhere else.
Yeah. Tell you, the Yankees could use him. Jeter may be there as a starter, but boy, it would be sweet to have somebody like that behind him. Maybe he could play first base.
You could put him on the mound. Remember that Little League World Series? Probably throw 95 there.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled back by Ramirez. The only walk given up by Markwell. Ramirez got leading off the second.
See, that's what we talked about being the key for the Dominican Republic, are those dangerous curves. I mean, they have to have it in the back of their mind that the pitch to hit is going to be that breaking ball. And they have not, as of yet, been able to square one up.
Third Blyleven, their pitching coach. Intent. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and a fastball broke the bat, goes to third, scooped up. Jonathan Scope makes the play, gets the out. That's a 1-2-3 inning.
And that pressure is starting to build once again for a heavy favorite.
It's like, wait a minute, how can we not be scoring runs in this game? Netherlands leads. Well, in the championship game tomorrow night, Puerto Rico's going to be there. A big 2 RBI homer extended the lead for them against Japan last night. Rios got it, made it 3-0 at the time. They would go on to win it 3-1. And they await the winner of this game for the championship. We'll have it tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, at the midnight GMT time. Special pregame ceremony. 2013 World Baseball Classic final in San Francisco tomorrow night.
You know, it's not that Puerto Rico has gotten a lot of anything. They've gotten just enough. And all of a sudden, the bat of Alex Rios entered the World Baseball Classic. Aviles last night with an RBI and a run scored. Pagan doing his thing.
And that ground ball will go to short. Jonathan Scope has grounded out twice to short. Reyes makes the play. The Dominican pitchers have allowed only 2 runs in the last 30 innings of the World Baseball Classic, yet here they are trailing in this game to the Netherlands by a score of 1-0. Their pitching has been magnificent. They came in with opponents hitting only 185 against them and a 2.17 ERA for the entire staff.
You know, Gary, going back and looking at some of the games that the Netherlands played that they won, a couple of the games that they lost, looking at the statistics that they've put up offensively, it's really been their balance. I mean, you look at Ricardo down at the bottom, it's been his defense. Sam's hitting 8th, it's been his ability to score runs. Scope's had some power. Bernardina's been getting on base, playing a good center field. Everybody's kind of brought a little something to the party for Hensley Muhlen's team.
He's got 10 players with the World Baseball Classic experience. 7 on this team are here for the 3rd time. Sam's popped out, third base, playing in left field in the ball game, and a timeout will be asked for. Warm-up action in the bullpen for the Dominican Republic, with Volquez so far having walked 2, struck out 3. Herrera started at the first of the inning to warm up, getting to go after one that was high and inside, and a 1-ball 2-strike count from Volquez. The lone single, Jones' single that came in the 4th inning. That's the only hit the Netherlands have put up on the board. They got a run in the first when Simmons and Profar led the game off for the walk, moved up the ground ball out, and scored on a Ballantine ground ball. That's it. It's the only run on the board. Here's the 1-2 delivery and a swing and a miss. Volquez has 4 strikeouts.
And he's starting to put everything together. You're seeing the good part of Edinson Volquez. 11 wins last year, of course 11 losses, most of that due to a lack of command, but overall over 180 innings pitched. He only allowed 160 hits, had over 170 strikeouts. So I really don't think, even though back in 08 he had 17 wins and was an all-star, I don't think he's had his best year yet.
Big yacker he put on right there. That ball to right field may fall in. It will. That's going to be a base hit. Ricardo, the number 9 hitter, their catcher, gets their 2nd hit, which comes with 2 down here in the 5th inning.
He's not going to do a whole lot offensively. This was a pitch that was well away from the location they were looking for, just high enough that he was able to muscle it just in front of Cruz. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Cruz making the smart play there, not trying to make a great play and possibly letting that ball get by him.
So Simmons, the leadoff batter, will be coming up. Bill Castro, the pitching coach, however, is going to come to the mound first.
Really, the only reason to do this mound visit is to give Herrera more time to get ready.
There are the young players that we've been talking about for the Netherlands. They're tremendous fielders. Simmons, only age 23, shortstop. He'll be there with the Braves to start. Profar is only 20, #1 prospect by MLB.com in all of baseball. Bogaerts doesn't even get a chance to play tonight. The number 20 prospect, he's only 20 years old, short and third. And Scope, who's 21, the Orioles' number 4 prospect. J.J. Hardy, their starter at short. He'll probably play some AA, AAA this year.
What happened to Eugene Kingsdale? What happened to Randall Simon? Wasn't Kenley Jansen a catcher?
Yeah.
There's a completely different look for this ball club now, and it's easy to see why they're here.
Now they'll try and manufacture something with 2 down. All of the hits we've had, and we've had only 4 in the game, 2 for each team. 2 out singles. There's a tough game on the hitters. There's that breaking ball. Simmons drew the walk, scored in the first inning. Now has scored 10 runs to lead this team in the runs department. He flied out his other time up. One of those young players we were just taking a look at, Simmons, starting shortstop for the Braves. 0-1 delivery on the way to him, and that's off the bat and foul, and come right straight back.
Gary, looking back at a couple of the big wins for the Netherlands team, it's been Simmons right in the middle of that. Their very first victory of the tournament when they beat Korea 5-0. He was just 3 for 5. And of course, in that big comeback over Cuba where they were down by 2 runs in the 8th inning, he was 2 for 4, had 3 RBIs in that game. Of course, the big home run.
Profar waiting on deck. Volquez with a runner at first base and 2 down. And got him to reach for 1, and that'll be foul back. Volquez trying to find that final out here in the 5th inning.
Take a look at some of that power. You're looking at a guy about 6'2", 175, 180 pounds. Sometimes that can fool you. See the pitcher for Japan there just shaking his head as if to say, who is that guy?
Made his major league debut in June of last year. Became rookie of the month, hit .333, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs, 25 games in June.
And he broke that finger sliding into second base.
Catcher set up way outside. Timeout was asked for and given. Wally Bell getting out of there in a hurry as Markwell was getting ready. Simmons wanted the timeout. He was a pitcher at Oklahoma State, threw in the upper 90s. Noted for soft hands and a very strong arm in the infield. Ricardo off first base. Volquez with the 0-2 count. And got him, came back inside. Santana will make the throw down to first base. Volquez 5 strikeouts, 2 in the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. It is still all about the pitching. The Netherlands run in the first inning still holding up. Copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the World Baseball Classic Inc. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Oh, music to your ears.
John Coltrane, mentor.
Mr. Jazz Man.
Here is Nelson Cruz. Cruz, Santana, and Moises Sierra due up. Cruz grounded out his first time up. Cano's had a single. Reyes has had a single. That's been it for the Dominican. They've not gotten a runner to second base in the ball game. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Diego Markwell has walked 1, struck out none.
The wheels starting to spin a little bit in both of these dugouts, Gary. We saw the Dominican bullpen busy, as is the Netherlands bullpen now, and their bottom part of the 5th inning here.
Both managers want to have somebody ready just in case. Pitch is going to be taken inside, and a 3-ball 1 strikeout on Cruz. Bert Blyleven hoping Markwell can get through this inning. Ainsley Mulin's the manager. Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way. Got it in, driven to center. Bernardino was playing deep, and it came right to him. Cruz retired.
Boy, the great thing about this pitch is he knew he had to throw a strike, but he wanted to use this ballpark to his advantage. Look at the location of this pitch. I mean, this is in the low 80s right here, but it's on the outer half of the plate, which is going to keep the hitter from pulling the baseball. If you can hit it over the 399-foot sign, then so be it. I'll tip my hat to you. But I'm not going to give you anything middle in that you can pull down that left field line where it only says 339.
So he gets the out there. Here's Santana. Santana flied to left field his first time up. Carlos Santana, the patient hitting catcher, will take the pitch up high for a ball. And coming out, Ricardo. Just hollering out to his starter Markwell. The last thing they want to do here is surrender a walk. The walk came to Ramirez leading off the second inning, and one of the big points of the ball game, he got picked off, eliminating that leadoff batter. That pitch is going to be outside, 3-0. Santana's just done a tremendous job of improving his plate appearances by being willing to take pitches and draw walks. Here's the 3-0 delivery to him. That is going to be in there for a strike. Markwell just laid it in, said hit it. Santana cut his strikeouts down from 133 to 101 last year, and as a result raised his on base percentage from 351 to 365, making him a difficult out. 3-1 delivery to him, and he'll take that for a strike. 3-2.
Almost like he was fooled on that off-speed pitch there. I don't know how you could look for anything other than that.
Three-2 delivery on the way, and he'll foul that one off.
There's the general manager. Tell you what, I know there's a little snow on the roof there, but he still looks to be in tremendous shape. And if you needed a clutch hit,
looks like he's ready to go. Down to third. That is a fair ball. It'll roll into the bullpen up at the mound. Santana's on his way to second base. Sams will get it in, and there's a double, the first extra base hit of the ball game.
And all of a sudden now the jacket comes off down there in the bullpen for Hensley Mulin's team. They were anticipating that there could possibly be some trouble, and they were just trying to stay ahead of it. Markwell makes the mistake on that pitch that he did not make on the previous at bat with Nelson Cruz. Both of the balls were hit extremely hard, but that one was more so towards the inner part of the plate. He was able to pull it with a little bit more authority, and down there at third base, Scoop could not make that play.
So there's their first runner to second. One down. Here's Sierra, flying out to center field his first time up. Off speed pitch, and man, that'll break your back.
Took a little bit off of this breaking ball, just kind of a get over piece to show him. Might have been looking breaking ball there, just looking for one a little bit harder than that. He wasn't thinking about tying the game up. He was thinking about getting the lead.
24-year-old. One strike count on him. Runner off second base. That ball is drilled down the line. That is a fair ball. That'll tie the game up. Santana will score. Throw comes into second. A double and an RBI for Sierra in a 1-1 ball game.
Tony Pena decided at the last moment to make a change. Nanita was penciled in to begin with as to be the starting left fielder. Now Sierra's not only made an outstanding defensive play, but it's the double here that ties the ball game up. That breaking ball down and in, a little harder version of the spin on that pitch, and I would say the end of the night for Markwell is getting really, really close.
So Sierra gets the RBI, and Pena's gut was right as to who to start in left. Here's Diaz, a fly to center field, his first time up. A run on 4 hits now for the Dominican. Ball game tied. We're in the 5th. Diaz, their number 9 hitter. Markwell. Fastball off the fist will be fouled away, and a 2-strike count. Rally caps are on. Diaz coming out of Miami in the pool there. The 0 for 9. Hitting in the 9 spot. He's had 4 hits, 4 for 19 overall. And checks that one, and it's inside.
Finally, offensively, the team from the Dominican getting something going. Another ball that was hit hard. Finally starting to find some holes, and finally something to cheer about.
1 ball, 2-strike count. Markwell got it in again off the fist and foul. Diaz will keep his at-bat alive. Tony Pena for the first time with a little smile there. It's been pretty tense and still is. Ball game tied at 1-1, and now the runners in scoring position. You see what they have done with that 271 mark.
That's really a pretty good number when you think about the good pitching that, particularly as time goes on, that they start to see.
Outfield deep on Diaz. Here's the 1-2 delivered. Fouled it off again. Battling in this at bat.
I've really been impressed with Markwell tonight, Gary. He's not going to overpower you. He's not going to light up a radar gun, but I love the way he competes here. Command of the fastball for the most part has been pretty good. There's going to be a decision to make, though, after this at bat, if he's able to retire Diaz. Obviously, if he gets on, the night will be over.
1-2. Good secondary lead at second base, and up high to him. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Really trying to work Markwell through this inning. That's what they'd like to do for the Netherlands team. See whether or not he can make it. Their bullpen's ready if they need to make the move. 20 pitches in the inning, 82 pitches in the ballgame. 2-2 delivery. Inside outside, fouled away again.
They got to be a little bit stunned that Markwell gave up a run. Coming into the bottom of the 5th inning, he had thrown 14 innings in the World Baseball Classic against a couple of pretty good teams. Korea to begin with, Cuba after that, now the Dominican Republic. And that's just the 2nd run that he has surrendered.
He has kept them in the ball game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sierra off second base. Ground ball towards first. Big hop will be played. Smith. Runner will move up. And there are 2 down. And they're going to let him stay out there and try and finish this inning off. Clearly was the game plan. There's Blyleven, the pitching coach. Nancy Mulin's the manager, talking.
I don't blame Hensley there for leaning over to Bert Blyleven. Hey, if I leave him in here now, you agree with that move, right?
Yes. Reyes up. Reyes a base hit. 1 for 2. There the 84 pitches thrown, the breakdown. Now a runner at third base. 2 away. And the pitch up high to Reyes, top of the order. Reyes, who has been the emotional leader of this team, if Cano has been the offensive leader. 1-0 delivery to him. Pitch will be away. 2-0. Ball game tied at 1. The winner goes to the championship game tomorrow night against Puerto Rico.
Absolutely no way that Markwell can get beat on a fastball. I think he's got to spin something here.
That's a strike up high. Reyes can't believe it. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
I don't believe it either. I don't believe that he threw a fastball. I don't think by design he wanted to throw a strike. I think he was trying to get Reyes to expand the zone. That has not been a strike all night, but all of a sudden it is.
And 2-1. Breaking ball off speed. 2-2. That'll let the infield back up. They've been playing the corners in against Reyes.
Boy, he really pulled the string here, didn't he? Continuing to compete, throw as many pitches as he possibly can that looks like it's going to be a strike to begin with, and then clearly gets out of the strike zone.
32-year-old left-hander Diego Marquell. The runner off third. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Reyes will take it, full count.
Well, there's no question in my mind this will be the last pitch of the night. Hall of Famer Bert Blyleven looking on. Bert Blyleven will have signs with the catcher when he has an ideal of what he wants to see. I think right now you go with your strength. There's really no weakness for Jose Reyes. I think you go with your strength, which is that big breaking ball trying to catch the outside corner.
3-2 delivery on the way, and a bloop that could fall in center. Bernardina can't get it. And a 3-2 single and an RBI. And Reyes gives the Dominican a 2-1 lead.
Went with that breaking ball. Went with the big curveball, but just could not locate it. Pretty much center cut. Elevated once again, like a lot of his pitches have been in this inning. And now there's no question that Hensley Mullins is going to have to come get him.
A big battle won by Reyes. Reyes gets his third RBI and his 9th hit of the Classic.
Boy, I really understand this. I mean, the logic behind it is the fact that you don't want Reyes to steal second base. To me, the point right here is to get the hitter out. Who gives you the best chance to retire Tejada? For me, it is not Diego Marquell at this point.
Tejada's flied out and popped out. 4 for 15 in the Classic, getting the start at third base in this game. Runner at first, 2 down. 5 hits now, almost thrown away. Smith reaching out to get it. I mean, the bullpen's ready. They've been ready down there for a couple of hitters. Just a matter of the decision, as Rick said, on who do you think can get the out. And the pitch will be taken for a ball. So the Dominican finally getting some runs up on the board here in the 5th inning.
You have got to get this guy out. More than anything because of who's in the on-deck circle. I do not understand this at all.
Stufbergen just continues to throw in the bullpen lightly. Tejada will take the pitch on the outside corner, 1-1. Miguel Tejada. Big chance here in the 5th inning. Double by Santana, double by Sierra, followed RBI. Runner moved to third, ground ball out, and then Reyes with the RBI base hit. He's at first. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Tejada rips it foul.
How many of those have we seen in this inning? We've seen a couple of balls that were hit extremely hard that were just foul. We saw Cruz absolutely blister it almost to the warning track in center field. A double by Santana, a double by Sierra. It's going to be tough enough for the Netherlands to get 1 run off the bullpen of the Dominican, let alone possibly more than that.
1 ball, 2 strike throw over. Well, it tells you something about the bullpen as far as Hensley Mullins and his pitching coach are concerned. Not a lot of confidence in it.
That's a great point.
It's this middle part of the bullpen that has been their soft underbelly. 1 ball, 2 strike count. About the 4th throw over to first base here since Reyes got out with a single. One and 2. Tejada waiting. There goes the runner. Line drive almost took the head off the pitcher. Reyes will go to third. Bernardina will get it back in. Tejada's on with a base hit. Markwell, as Rick said, his pitches now are up. They're hittable.
So hard for me to understand when Miguel Tejada, at 38, 39 years of age, whatever it is the guy you have got to get out. You cannot let Robinson Cano come up in this inning. You have to do everything possible to keep him from hitting and giving them an opportunity to break the game open. But that's not what happened. The one thing they wanted to do was keep Reyes from running. That didn't happen. He took off to steal second, and then Tejada with another line drive.
So the Dominican has runners on at first and third. Great job by Markwell, but just could not get through this inning. First 15 hitters, he gave up 2 hits. The last 5 hitters have 4. So now the question is, can the Dominican add to it? This is a right-hander, Tom Stoofbergen, is coming on to pitch.
Normally a command guy. You can see it's gotten away from him a little bit during this World Baseball Classic. Pitched in 09 for the Netherlands and pitched really, really well against the Dominican Republic team.
He's in the Minnesota Twins organization. Played high A ball with Fort Myers Twins last year, 6-7. Had an ERA of 5.09. Cano, runners at first and third. All the way to the backstop. And I gotta wonder the impact that Reyes had on that pitch. Reyes came down the line halfway as Stoofenberger was getting ready to throw, and he ended up burying it and another run in.
And what you've got to do when something like that happens, you have to just step off the mound. You don't have to make a throw to third. There was nobody covering there, but you've got to step back off the mound and go, okay, if you're going to play that game, at least now I'm aware of it. Instead, he throws it away and gives the Dominican another run.
Well, the fire of Reyes shows up again, and now with first base open, Cano will draw the intentional pass. He's singled and grounded out in the ball game as the wheels start to come off for the Netherlands.
Gary, we're not second guessing anything that's happened here. We talked about it to begin with. They had to retire Miguel Tejada to get this inning over with. You could not let it go any further than that. And to do that, you had to go to the bullpen to give your team the best chance to get out of that, just being down by 1 run.
So the Dominican, a big inning here. They put 3 runs in. They now have a 3-1 lead. And Encarnacion will hit with runners on at first and second and 2 outs. Tejada on at second base, talking with Profile. And finally some movement on the Dominican bench. And there'll be more. Encarnacion can connect. He is 0 for 2 in the ball game, 5 for 22 with 3 RBIs in the Classic. Tejada, the lead runner, the responsibility of Markwell, the starter. Stoofenbergen's pitch is in there for a strike. The Netherlands, they just can't let him have any more. Starter over there in the bench, Markwell watching. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Another pitch way up high. 1-1.
They're just so talented, this team from the Dominican. We saw 2-3 mental mistakes that they made early in the ball game, but they're just so good they've been able to overcome them.
Encarnacion, wow, off the mask, and that really hit him. You could hear that all the way up here in the press box as it rattled the cage of Ricardo.
I think the trainers need to come out right now. I mean, you can't get hit much harder than that. Gary, you've talked about it, the concussion factor that we've seen with a lot of catchers. I see that, and I think of Mike Matheny. When he came to San Francisco from St. Louis, something like that happened, and he was not able to continue his career. Of course, now the manager for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Runners off first and second. 1-2 delivery will be fouled back. Encarnacion really looking to jump on a pitch here because they've been up high, a little higher than his wheelhouse, but he'd love to get to one of those.
Tell you what, he got to a lot of them last year during the regular season. 42 homers for Toronto, over 100 RBIs.
He gets one there. That's going to be a base hit. Takata will turn. Bernardina up. Throw's going to come to third. Run crosses, and the out's recorded at third base. So Cano trying to get the extra base, cannot. Encarnacion, though, will be credited with an RBI single. And for the Dominican, a big 4-run fifth inning. And are they on their way to a championship game? Right now they are. The Dominican Republic 4, the Netherlands 1. Back to San Francisco. The winner is going to move on here in the city by the bay tomorrow night to play Puerto Rico in the championship game of the 2013 World Baseball Classic. And the Dominican Republic right now in pretty good shape, as Puerto Rico had the upset win over Japan 3-1 in the ball game last night. The Netherlands 1-0 lead is gone. Dominican now leads at 4-1. 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night. Puerto Rico and the winner of this game for the championship. A new champion, of course. Japan had won the first 2 World Baseball Classics. The Dominican is trying to stay undefeated. No other team has done that coming into the semis and finals. They are 6-0. And we will get a new pitcher, Calvin Herrera, coming out of the bullpen.
I don't think there's ever been a team that had a better bullpen anywhere at any time in any league than what the Dominican Republic has put together. This could be the closer right here for a lot of people. Instead, he pitches the 6th inning.
Profar, who has drawn a walk and struck out, is at the plate. They need base runners now. He's taking. It'll be down low. Their bullpen 4-0, a 2.01 ERA in 6 games. They haven't allowed a run in the last 14 2/3. Fernando Rodney, their closer for Tony Peña's ball club. New World Baseball Classic mark with 5 saves. And the pitch is up high. Final line, Markwell, 4 runs, 6 hits, 4 2/3. No strikeouts and a walk for the starter. Now we'll see whether or not this young team from the Netherlands can come back. That'll be foul back.
You know, as we were looking at Fernando Rodney there, I was just thinking about how much of a career boost that could be for Herrera, to be around him, to be around Casilla, to be around Dotel for the last 2-3 weeks. The things that he would learn because of that.
Veteran pitchers at the major league level. Profar is retired. Ground ball to Reyes. 1 away, 6th inning.
You know, I remember in Phoenix talking with Michael Saunders, a fine young outfielder for the Seattle Mariners, playing for Team Canada. I mean, he talked about what it was like being around Justin Morneau and Joey Votto. I mean, left-handed power hitters, learning to have that patience. You know, just different things that they pass along that can change a guy's career.
Pitch is in there for a strike. Bernardina is 0 for 2. He's grounded back to the mound twice. He's 2 for 20 now in the Classic. It's the middle of the order. That's a strike on the outside corner. Bernardina with the Washington Nationals, signed at the age of 17. So many of these players coming out of the Netherlands and Curaçao were signed at very young ages and have already played a lot of baseball. Bernardina's only 28 years old. And he'll foul that one back. Holds the count at 2 strikes.
You know, and some things that Bert Blyleven was telling me before the game today. They're building a brand new ballpark. And they're expecting more and more people to play the game of baseball. So that means more and more people coming to the big league.
That'll be cut off, Cano. It's just not that easy. 2 down.
I mean, that's the perfect way to put that right there. But he makes it look that way. He just kind of looked nonchalant. I really think after the first couple of steps, he knew he was going to get to that baseball, and it's no big deal. There he is. He takes the perfect angle, goes a little bit deeper, had to cut out into the grass. Look at that first step. A couple of real quick steps, then he kind of goes into a gliding pattern. There it is into the glove, and because of that strong, accurate arm, you're done.
Couple of quick outs for Herrera. 2 down. Valentin up. Valentin has the RBI in the first inning with a ground ball out, and he has struck out. 4-7-0 Dominican, 1-2-0 for the Netherlands. Each team has left 3 on base, but after that first inning, the Netherlands has never had another real scoring opportunity. That will be in the gap. How far will it go? All the way to the wall. Diaz is going to get it. Valentin going into second base because he cannot run. Fans are booing, but what they don't know is he's injured, and he literally had to just kind of trot into second base.
And that's the only way that he could stay into this ball game. It's an absolute shame the fans don't understand exactly what's happening here. He should be getting applause because of the fact that he's trying to play through this injury. If this were spring training and he was with a professional team, he wouldn't be playing. He'd be spending the day in the trainer's room. But because of the name on the front of his jersey as opposed to the one on the back, he's giving him everything that he's got.
That's a triple, obviously, if he's healthy, but he's not. And will stay in the ball game at second base, which will make it very difficult for him to score on a base hit as well. Jones coming up the DH. He is singled, flied out. Herrera looking for the third out here. Hit number 3 for the Netherlands. Outfield will shade to right, and the pitch is inside for a ball. Andrew Jones, give him a shot here. He can get a 2-out RBI.
He can turn a fastball around. There's no question about that.
2-0.
He's a lot like Valentin. Valentin was able to lay off the first off-speed pitch that he saw from Herrera. Got a fastball center cut and didn't miss it. It could be exactly what Andrew Jones is looking at here on this 2-0 pitch.
The infield plays him to pull. The outfield plays him to go the other way. And the pitch is a strike.
Now you might think that was a fastball at 86 miles an hour. As you look at Markwell, that would have been one of his better fastballs. But because of the arm strength of Herrera, that was a straight changeup.
Cano coming over to talk to Herrera.
And you know what I think he's telling him right now? Forget about the report of Andrew Jones being a good fastball hitter. You've got a great fastball. All you got to do is locate it. You do not want to bring the tying run here to home plate after we just put up that 4 spot.
2-1 delivery to him. That'll be fouled back. Challenged him with that one.
That's leadership right there, and that's what Robinson Cano just did. He just threw his glove at him like, yeah, do it again. Located outer half of the plate. Good fastball hitter, but a pitcher with a better fastball.
Cano out there explaining what he did to Encarnacion between pitches. 2-ball, 2-strike count. And a heater that almost gets away. Santana gets turned around on it, and a 3-ball, 2-strike count. This makes Cano's play in Bernardino look that much bigger in the inning. That ground ball he caught on the outfield grass and retired Bernardino for the second out. After Valentin then comes up with a double, could have scored a run, would have scored a run. 3-2, 2 down, and off-speed delivery got him. Herrera will get the strikeout, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Dominican Republic looking to move to the championship game tomorrow night. They have got the lead in this one, and their strong bullpen to lead them the rest of the way. Now we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning with the Dominican leading it by a score of 4-1. That's the way it has been throughout this run by the Dominican Republic for their fans.
Oh, there's been a lot to cheer about.
Hanley Ramirez did not hit in the 5th inning. The only member in the lineup that did not. He will foul that one off. Ramirez has drawn a walk and he is grounded out. It'll be Ramirez, Cruz, and Santana. Puerto Rico waiting for the winner tomorrow night. It would be interesting, certainly, if it ended up being these teams again. They both came out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, the first round. The 2 teams that made it out of that pool now have a chance to face each other in the championship game here in San Francisco.
I know one thing, if that were to happen, that game tomorrow night will be a lot different than the final game down in Miami. I thought that Puerto Rico was spent winning the night before, and when they didn't start Yadier Molina, they were telling you something.
Right-hander came on to finish up that last inning. He didn't record an out himself to get the out on the base pass. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and a roller down to third. That's a base hit. Well, Ramirez gets the infield single. Big fifth inning for the Dominican with one away, started by Carlos Santana. Santana would deliver a double.
Let's go back to that big inning with one out, doubles down the line, and then really the game-winning play was provided before the game started by Tony Pena when he inserted Moses Sierra to play left field. He made a couple of nice plays out there. He comes up with the big double. If he doesn't hit that double, Diaza makes an out, the inning is over. But he kept the inning alive. He got into scoring position. Reyes drove him in. Tejada added to that lead, and we're at 4-1.
And a swing and a miss by Nelson Cruz. Cruz flied out. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Santana waiting on deck. And Tony Pena a little more relaxed than he was earlier in the ball game when his team was being shut down. Silvenberger with the 0-1 count. Silvenberger will miss inside with that, and the count goes to 1-1. Double barrel action in the bullpen for the Netherlands. They simply cannot afford to get any further behind in the ball game. See the Dominican, 7 of the last 8 batters have reached base. Finally, this big offense coming alive in this semi-final game. That is a strike, and 1-2 on Nelson Cruz.
I just felt like the Dominican made so many mental mistakes early in the game. There was nothing big, but Volquez not being able to make the throw to second. Hanley Ramirez getting picked off at first. Tejada bunting with a man on first and 2 outs.
May have thought this ball game was going to come a little easier than it has, maybe. They have been as loose as a baseball team can possibly be throughout this tournament. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Ramirez off first base. And that ball's going to be put up in the air to right field. Wind's going to blow this around a little bit. Valentin looked behind him, but the ball was in the web. He's had a couple of fly balls he's wondered about.
He did not know if he caught that ball or not. We know that he's not at 100%. We know that he's not a great outfielder to begin with. And we know that this is a tough. There's no such thing as a routine fly ball tonight with that wind gusting and really kind of swirling. It seemed like it changes pretty much every half inning.
Yep. Runner stays at first. Santana coming up. Santana 1 for 2, the double, run scored in the 5th inning. It's blown pretty hard all night long. Able to see the players' uniforms rippling in the wind. That's an indication of just how hard it is blowing. 1 for 2, Santana. Almost threw that one away. We started at 58 degrees. We're down to 54. But there's a wind chill out there to go along with it. And that's a blast to right. Valentin is there. That's a little easier actually for him to catch. It's not up in the air, and it was right at him. And there are 2 down. So here's the way it looks with the Dominican Republic 4-8-0. The Netherlands 1-3-0. Moises Sierra, the RBI double, run scored. Reyes 2 singles, RBI and a run. Volquez the starter. A couple of walks early in that first inning, and after that settled in, a run, 2 hits, 5 innings, and 5 strikeouts.
And that's really the whole key to this ball game, was the fact that Volquez was able to settle down. They have not walked another guy since those first two guys.
They say Sierra. Sierra with the 0-1 count, double RBI, flied out in his other at bat. And the 0-1 will be bounced. 1 ball, 1 strike count. In the dugout before the ball game of the Dominican, and Tony on the lineup, he was just hemming and hawing. Who do I want to play in left field? So I've gone back and forth on this. I've written it out. I've scratched it out. I've written it out again. And Neneta was in the starting lineup to play left field until batting practice was over. And then he announced the change, and it has made the difference.
You know, I've never seen anybody else do that, but we have seen the team from Japan. We've seen them make some changes because the batting practice didn't go exactly like the manager had hoped for.
We'll be asked about that after the game if they win it.
I think it's a difference in the game right now.
He started out with that great catch he made to retire Jones in the first inning. Or the Netherlands might have gotten a couple of runs in the first instead of 1. He caught a foul ball going into the seats, and then has come back with the RBI double in the 5th inning.
Of course, Andrew Jones in his very next at bat lined a base hit up the middle, so that could have led to a big inning. You're exactly right.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner at first, down the line, and that'll be in the bullpen and foul. We're talking about that play in the first inning Sierra made.
The ball was hit extremely hard down the line. He went a long ways to get there and then just completely forgot about his body, realizing that they had already fallen behind. They couldn't afford to give up any more. Fortunate too that the fans were able to get out of the way, even though it looked like they were trying to make the play.
It's only the second start that he's had here in the World Baseball Classic. Ball gets on the field from the bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down. Ramirez had a leadoff single. He's over there with 2 away now, and another one down the line. It's the only thing I'm surprised at when they built this ballpark. Why would you put the bullpens in foul territory out on the field? It has caused injuries before in other ballparks. I think of the Cubs in particular. It's dangerous for outfielders. You're running in. You have to come over a mound in order to go after foul pop-ups, and they, for some reason, put these bullpens in foul territory. It's dangerous. Foul back again.
I think part of it might have to do with how expensive real estate is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in this area here, we just don't have that much space to work with. I agree with you, though. I mean, you'd like to see it somewhere else. Just like to see it hidden.
1 ball, 2 strike count here with 2 down. Runner off first base, and another one down the line right into that bullpen area. It's a foul ball. Apparently, the story is that when this ballpark was designed, this is really hard to believe, the ballpark was designed without bullpens in the construction plans.
They forgot about it?
They forgot, and they ended up with no place to put them, and so they put them in the foul territory. I wouldn't have paid the last bill from the construction design company, I'll tell you that. That's bad. You
know, I think back to the 2 playoff games that we had here against Detroit in the World Series. Remember when Tim Lincecum warmed up underneath?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't see him throw 1 ball down there in the bullpen. He just did everything in the tunnel. Of course, they've got cages and mounds and everything inside of both of these dugouts. He got ready down there. He didn't even want to go out onto the field.
Down in right field, there's a stand-up area behind the fence down there at field level, which is where you might have thought a bullpen would go. 1-2 delivery down low. They rotate fans who want to come in to see the ball game and stand down there. You come in, I don't know how long it is, 2 or 3 innings. You get to stay there and watch that part of the ball game. Then you got to come out, and they bring more fans in who get to go down there and watch, because you're literally right off the field, right behind that fence.
I think part of the reason that's such a great ideal and a nice move on their part, they have a lot of sellouts here in San Francisco. It has really become the thing to do here during the summer.
2 ball, 2 strike count. We appreciate Sierra fouling off pitches so we could get all that in. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat with a runner at first. It's all right. You can do something now because I'm getting hungry. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. A battle here. Stufbergen trying to find a way to get him out of there. Has thrown everything he's got. Down at first base on the ground ball. And the play made. That will retire the side. Kurt Smith there to put it away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. The guy tooting the horn still alive. Tonight, even though they have averaged 5 runs a ball game, not getting it there tonight.
Well, you go back to that first inning. It's the only inning of the 6 that they got the leadoff runner on base. Simmons on that walk eventually came around to score on the base hit by Ballantine, on the ground ball by Ballantine. I think that's got to happen again for them right now if they expect to get back in this. And for me, Gary, they've got their best hitter at home plate right now.
Kurt Smith, who has lined out and hit into a fielder's choice. Herrera stays on the mound. They played a couple of exhibition games waiting for these games here in San Francisco and scored a lot of runs. They beat the Padres and the Mariners, outscoring them combined 17-4 in those ball games. But the Dominican pitching another story. 0-1 count on Smith, and the pitch will be taken on the outside corner. Scope and then Sam's due up. 6, 7, 8 in the lineup.
I'll tell you what, there's not anybody that I've seen in this tournament that has better stuff than Herrera. He has got 3+ pitches. That fastball command, when it's on, you can absolutely forget about it. He's shown a good breaking ball, and he's also shown the ability, as he did with Andrew Jones, to throw the changeup for a strike when the count's full or he's behind in the count.
And Jonathan Scope up there. He is grounded out to short twice. Oh, 1 count on him. And another ground ball. Second base. Cano will move over to get it. 2 down.
We all know that Robinson Cano, as we look at the numbers there for Herrera a year ago, back with Kansas City again this year. Robinson Cano with the MVP of the first 2 rounds, a free agent at the end of this season. He's going to need a big contract because he's going to have to remodel his house with all the hardware that he's taken home from the World Baseball Classic.
Sam's up. He's not going to let his dad do the negotiations, I'll tell you that. His father came out in New York and said, Robinson wants to stay here. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. He'll take less money to stay in New York rather than playing for some other team. And when Robinson heard that, he says, that was my father, not me.
You know what, Dad? You've done a great job getting me to this point. I'll take it from here. You just keep throwing batting practice at the home run derby for me.
His father right there, one of the coaches.
Former big leaguer.
Yep. 2-0 delivery on the way and a fastball. No chance catching up to that one. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Sam's, who has popped out and struck out. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The Dominican, the home team, and on top, Puerto Rico waiting to face the winner tomorrow night in the championship game.
You know, it seems like a small thing right now, but look at the pitch count for Herrera.
Yeah, 30's the magic number.
I don't think there's any way after him going what looks to be 2 innings that Tony Pena would take a chance on this young man's future and bringing him back. He's got a lot of depth. There's a lot of other people that could pitch, but I don't think he's got anybody that's any better than this guy.
And that pitch is going to be taken inside. He walked him. So a base on balls, a 2 down here in the 7th inning. Runner on. Ricardo coming up.
Take a look at the rules here. You can't throw more than 95 pitches, which is the rule in the semis and the finals. And then you take a look at the guys who throw 30 pitches in a semifinal game. They are ineligible to pitch in the final. Now he is at 29 pitches right now, but Casilla is not ready down there in the bullpen. So Bill Castro just going out to have a chat here.
Bill Castro, their pitching coach, sure just explaining to Herrera the situation.
It's not Casilla down there. I apologize.
Pedro Strop. Strop up in the bullpen. And it's cool out there, as you can see. Castro taking as much time as he can.
Well, I think the same thing is in store right here. That was a great move on the part of Tony Pena, sending Castro out there. Hey, this is the guy we have got to get. We do not want to bring Simmons up, one of the top power sources for the Netherlands, representing the tie and run. This is the guy we got to go after.
So Ricardo at the plate. He has picked up a base hit and has struck out. 5 hits, 21 at bats. Their catcher. Herrera's delivery to him. That's a strike. So Herrera's done. He's not going to pitch tomorrow night. He'll be a fan watching the ball game for the final.
Boy, what a series he has had.
Assuming the Dominican wins. 0-2 count. And a swing and a miss on a nasty pitch down low. Herrera gets a strikeout. He's got 3-2 in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, a walk. Base runner left on. 7th inning stretch time here in San Francisco. Stretch time here in San Francisco. Semifinal game, and the Dominican with 1 big inning has the lead, and now they've got 1 big reliever to try and hit off. Leon Boyd, 29-year-old.
Sidearm in between, 3/4 type delivery. Not going to overpower you with anything. Tries to stay down, keep the ball out of the air. You see he's going to give up some hits, particularly with a left-handed hitter. Very rarely is he going to strike that situation out. But he's pitched really well for Bert Blyleven and his staff.
Boyd plays in Canada for the Burnaby Bulldogs. He's from Vancouver, British Columbia. Pitched for the Netherlands in 2011. Has been in the Blue Jays organization previously. 1-2 delivery, lifted foul, way out in front of that one. Netherlands know running out of outs here and just can't afford to have any more scored by the Dominican. Diaz at the plate and Reyes at the top of the order. The 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's 4 for 20 in the Classic. There's Reyes waiting on deck. Again played a major role in the ball game. 1-2 delivery. That'll be down to first and foul.
You know, it's almost like Tony Pena should have to share the wealth. I mean, you look down there in the bullpen, he's not going to use Casilla for the 8th. He's got Pedro Strop. He's got Barris that a lot of people would love to have. Marcelo has been outstanding. How about Dotel? I mean, you think the Netherlands wouldn't like to have that arm down there in the pen?
No, they are loaded. The Dominican ball players are all over the major leagues. More Dominican players than from any other area outside the United States for players. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be inside. 2-ball, 2-strike count. And they are talented.
And I think, like you've said many times, Gary, I think they figured out how to put a team together. It's not about starting pitching. It's not about home run hitters.
Simmons will handle that one. For the Dominican Republic, we said that one big inning, it was the 5th, and maybe enough.
And that's where it was all about. And I really think right down there at the bottom, I think that double by Sierra, just 1 for 3, doesn't look like a whole lot going on, but it continued the inning. If he were to have made it out there, the odds, of course, grounded out to first base, that would have been it. We would have gone to the top of the 6th inning with the Netherlands up 1-0. But because of his hit, the lineup got turned back over, and the next thing you know, it was 4-1.
Reyes contributing with an RBI single in the inning. He's gone 2 for 3, 2 base hits in the ball game. Here's the 0-1 to him, and he fouls that one back. That one caught Ricardo, the catcher. Wally Bell walked out to give Ricardo a chance to walk it off.
Tells you a lot about him right here, doesn't it? And that's just right off the left wrist. There's no protection whatsoever there. And he tells the trainer to go back and sit down. I'm fine.
0-2 the count. Particularly stings on a night like tonight because it's cool. Reyes will go down swinging. 2 down, 7th inning.
Well, we know one thing. The manager for the Dominican Republic, Tony Pena, he did that for 18 years. He took that beating. A 5-time All-Star. Of course, several times he won the Gold Glove.
Back on the bench with Joe Girardi and the New York Yankees after the World Baseball Classic as the coach. First strikeout recorded by the 3 pitchers for the Netherlands in this game. Inside to Tejada, RBI base hit in the 5th, 1 for 3. Markwell, 4 runs, 6 hits, 4 2/3. Stuffbergen went an inning and a third, gave up a hit, 1 intentional pass. Now Boyd on. Big cut on that sidearm delivery away, 1-1.
There's no question that Tejada's last at bat, if there was one thing that the Netherlands could have over again, it would have been going about retiring him in a different direction.
1-1 delivery on the way outside.
I know one thing, the bullpen for the Dominican Republic has not given up anything, but trying to get 1 run back would have been much easier than the 3 runs that it ended up costing him.
Pedro Strop, jacket on. Off the glove of the pitcher, and a backhander is going to be thrown away. Profar goes into the stands. Probably a single and an error.
I'm guessing we could not hear from up here that Profar called him off. And this just comes down to a couple of guys that have never worked together before. To me, Simmons has got to make this play. He's easily there. He's going in that direction. It's a much easier throw. It's a much easier play, a play that could have been made. But I think Profar just trying to do too much right there. Cut in front of him. An off-balance throw, a longer throw. He's just not able to make that play.
So it is a single and an error. And with first base open again, Cano will draw his 2nd intentional pass of the ball game.
As you know, Gary, with that base hit for Cano back in the 1st inning, a 7-game hitting streak here in this World Baseball Classic. He's setting all kinds of records, and he's not done. It looks like he may get an opportunity to play again tomorrow.
He's hit in every game played in by the Dominican. 3-0 delivery for ball 4. So Cano on. He picked up a single in the 1st inning, so officially 1 for 2, 2 intentional passes. That'll put 2 on. Encarnacion coming up, RBI single in that big 5th inning. Sit into a fielder's choice, and he is flied out. Bottom half of the 7th. Dominican trying to put some more on the board. They've got the 4-1 lead. Lead runner Tejada, Cano at first base. Boyd drops down, ball in the air to center. Bernardino over, he's got it. And that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 are left on base. It is 4-1, Dominican on top. And you're taking a look at Pedro Strop and the numbers he has put up. Sometimes in baseball parlance, he's kind of taken the role of the vulture here in the World Baseball Classic.
Look at that. Only 4 appearances. He's already picked up 3 wins. Almost perfect. He's given up a couple of hits, not walked anybody. And, you know, again, I think he's a lot like Herrera. I think being around this ball club and the knowledge that he has gained on how to get better is going to do just exactly that.
And Strop goes to work here. Simmons will take the pitch away for a ball. Leadoff batter walk, scored first inning, 0 for 2. By vulture, we mean that bullpen guys sometimes on a team in the course of a year, they come in at the right time, tie ball game where their team's behind. They end up pitching for an inning or 2. The team gets the runs that puts them ahead. They get the pitcher that benefits from it, and they end up getting the win. And they're sometimes referred to as vultures. It's really not fair.
Well, I think the real vulture is a guy that comes in with a 1-run lead and gives up the 1, and then they score in the bottom of the inning and he picks up the win. That's a real vulture. That's a vulture. That's not what you want.
Pedro Strop, 2 ball 1 strike count, setup man for the Baltimore Orioles. Outfield played around to right on Simmons. Ground ball back to the mound. 1 down. Tomorrow's the championship game. Puerto Rico knows they are in it. The winner of this one will be the opponent. Puerto Rico got it done with their big win over Japan last night, and that big home run that made it a 3-1 ball game. A lot of celebration as they finished it off. Pagan, of course, would make the final catch in the outfield in his own home ballpark, only appropriate. And maybe we're going to see yet another matchup of Puerto Rico and the Dominican. Find out tomorrow, 8 Eastern, midnight GMT time. Ground ball. Oh, are you kidding me? Pinball. I got it.
Skate save and a beauty. Hey guys, you guys can just sit down. I don't really need you right now. I'm just going to play pepper with this lineup from the Netherlands. Second consecutive ground ball back to the pitcher. Really a nice play right there. Gets that glove down at the last second. Might have come off the foot as well. But nonetheless, the first 2 guys are out, and the Netherlands are down to their final 4 outs.
2 down here in the 8th inning. Bernardina coming up 0 for 3. He is grounded out all 3 times. They've stranded only a couple of base runners in scoring position in the game. Pitch will be up high by Strop. Bernardina, their number 3 hitter. The Dominican looking to go 7-0 against the team from the Netherlands that ended up as the runner-up in both of the first 2 pools, but made it here. Off the glove of Reyes, base hit. Bernardina's on with a 2-out single there in the 8th.
Jose Reyes just not quite able to get to this ball. That ball hit up the middle, off the end of his glove right there. If he got a hold of it, it would have been over with the arm that he possesses right off the end of that glove. And here comes the power source, the little that they have for Hensley Mulin's team.
Vladimir Valentin will stand in. Plays in Japan. He'll look for the long ball here. They're down by a score of 4-1. He doubled in the 6th inning. RBI ground ball first inning. Pitch will be taken inside for a ball. Playing with that bad leg, groin injury, that has really slowed him down. He would have had a triple in that 6th inning. Ended up with a double and got stranded. 1-0 delivery on the way, and again inside by Strop, and the count goes to 2-0.
Biggest problem offensively for the Netherlands tonight has been putting the ball in play. Nobody struck out the first couple of innings, but there has not been one inning since then where they did not strike out.
That will be fouled off. They lead all of the teams in this World Baseball Classic in strikeouts. They have struck out 8 times in this ball game, 57 times in the 8 games they've played. 2 ball, 1 strike count. 2 down, runner at first base. And a chopper shattered the bat. Strope's going to get all 3 of the assists as he makes the play again. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Bad sign for the Netherlands. The Seagulls are returning to the ballpark. A sure indication that their eating time is near, which means only one thing: this ball game's almost over.
The Dominican Republic up 4-1, and they come into these semis with an absolute perfect record, and I think their manager Tony Pena deserves some of that credit. He was the one that inserted Sierra. We've seen him make a couple of nice defensive plays. It was his double that tied the game up. Eventually he scored the run that gave them the lead. And when you think about the San Francisco Giants and how they have won a couple of World Series in the last 3 years, for me it's been the way Bruce Bochy has handled that bullpen, putting people in the right spot. Granted, Tony Pena's got some great arms and names to bring into the game, but he's done it perfectly. He's used Herrera just right. He's been able to get a couple of innings out of him. Of course, anytime he gets to the 9th, it's going to be Fernando Rodney, but Tony Pena has shown that he's ready to get back to the big leagues as a manager.
Ramirez batting here in the 8th inning. He has single, walk, grounded out, facing a giant 7'1", 260-pound Luke Van Mill. And the pitch will be taken outside for a ball.
I mean this totally as a compliment, but does it not look like he's on stilts? I mean, those are some long legs, and this is a release point right now that you hardly ever try to hit from in the game of baseball. You talk about a downward plane.
Time he lands that front foot, he's in the batter's box.
Oh my goodness, he's just handing it to the catcher.
He's 28 years old, signed with the Reds in December of this past year. Played Double-A ball, Akron with the Indians, Triple-A Columbus Indians team, and with the Angels Triple-A Salt Lake team all last year. Ended up 2-1 with a 3.20 ERA, 41 combined games. Check swing foul ball.
Boy, good arm. We're seeing a good live fastball in the low to mid 90s. Saw a decent breaking ball already in this at bat. And Mill picked up the victory in that 7-6 comeback win over Cuba.
He is from the Netherlands. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way down to third. That'll be foul. So the count will stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ramirez. First World Baseball Classic for him.
You know, sometimes fans might wonder, why would Tony Pena have 2 right-handers up and throwing in his bullpen? The reason for that is if the score remains the same and it's a save opportunity, Fernando Rodney will be the guy that comes in. If they're able to add to this lead and the save opportunity goes away, then I think Tony Pena would go in a different direction.
So he waits to see the result of this half inning. 3 ball, 2 strike count. See the Seagulls going through the camera once in a while there in the shot. That'll be fouled off again. And the count will stay at 3-2.
Well, I think there's twice as many of those Seagulls tonight as there was last night, partner.
Apparently they found some more tickets today. Make their way in. Or the food was so good last night they had to return and told all their friends.
I think they've heard that the lobster rolls were available tonight, and they weren't here last night.
They weren't. You're right.
I want to thank you for that as well.
That's quite all right. We love lobster rolls.
Terrific.
My buddy from Maine has a stand outside underneath the stands in center. Didn't have it open last night. Opened it tonight. We took full advantage of it.
Well, the fans remember us talking about it during the World Series.
That's right. And gets the out. Ramirez is retired. That'll bring up Cruz.
You know, the one disappointment that I have tonight is the fact that we have heard so much about Simmons and how his tremendous range is unlike anybody else in the game today. I want to see a little bit of that. He's not really been tested. I had a couple of opportunities. He's made the perfect throw. I want to see him go in the hole and come up with that cannon and, you know, some of the range that we've heard about.
Cruz will take it down low, 0 for 3 in the ball game. 3 outs away, the Dominican from moving into the championship game tomorrow. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's down low.
Inslee Mullins was talking before the game about a fly ball that was hit to routine center field in the Tokyo Dome, and how with the dome up there, it's kind of like it used to be in Minnesota, where the outfielders can lose the baseball. He said that Bernardino lost the ball, and they thought, oh my goodness, going to be extra bases. And the next thing you know, from out of nowhere, the shortstop position off. I mean, Simmons must have taken off at the very beginning, and he made the sliding catch out in center field on a ball that nobody else could have even gotten to there, let alone thought that they might have to be there.
2-1 delivery will go to him. You talked about him too much.
Forget it.
You got him.
That's the only way you can play that ball. I mean, that is an absolute rocket, and it takes a bad hop to boot right as it gets to him. But look at him. Instead of playing it off to the side, I mean, he turns into Yadier Molina. He said, I got to block this ball. I got to knock it down, because when I do, I've got the cannon to get you, regardless of who it is.
I told you, as a pitcher, he used to throw in the upper 90s. He threw in the upper 90 on that one over to first base. Just rifled that ball. And there are 2 down here in the 8th inning. Santana has doubled, scored. A couple of fly ball outs, 1 for 3 in the ball game. RBIs have been picked up by Reyes, Encarnacion, Moises Sierra, and a run scored on a wild pitch, giving the Dominican a 4-1 lead in the ball game. And the pitch will miss outside. 1-1. Netherlands will get one more shot at it in the 9th inning. Foul back, 1-2. Crowd of 27,527 to the ball game. 527 tonight here at
Not
AT&T
quite
Park.
What we had last night.
Oh, a lot more than I thought would be here, to tell you the truth. A little concerned about what the attendance would be, but a good crowd. Up into the Seagulls, that'll go to center. And you got to spot the right white thing coming down.
What happens
Santana's
if you hit
retired.
one of those Seagulls? You just play it off the goal? I mean, are the goals in play?
I once saw Kevin McReynolds at a pop up to left field when he was playing for the New York Mets. He hit a seagull, and both of them came down out of the sky.
Base hit, right?
And the seagull. It was a 2-for-1. All right, everybody sing now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Fernando Rodney. Happy birthday to you. He's already broken the record for saves. He's got 5. He celebrates his 36th birthday today. And he's going to come on with another chance. He did that against the U.S.
I don't think 36 is going to change anything, but I'll tell you what, that 35th year was a pretty good ride for the closer for the Tampa Bay Rays. And now, of course, Tony Peña's team. You can see that. They played 6 games. They've won 6, and he saved 5 of them. Already a World Baseball Classic record.
Andrew Jones. They'll take that off-speed delivery for a strike. Jones, Smith, and Scope are due up for the Netherlands. They trail 4-1, 9th inning. 4-9-0 for the Netherlands. 1-4-1 for the Netherlands, rather, and 4-9-0 for the Dominican. On the verge of the championship game tomorrow night. With the bit, ironically, 2 teams coming out of the first pool in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and with their long history of baseball and rivalry, the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico.
You know, not wanting to get ahead of myself, but with Fernando Rodney on the mound, it's hard not to do. Thinking about the payback and redemption that the Dominican Republic, we knew it. We knew they wanted to win that final game against Puerto Rico because it was going to line them up against the Netherlands.
Really a tough play out there. So you let Cano have it.
For anybody else. There was nobody else that could have made that play. Encarnacion was spinning like a top. He wanted nothing to do with it. Nelson Cruz couldn't get there. And once again, coming in to save the day is Superman.
Cano hauls it in, 1 down, 9th inning.
But Gary, to finish the thought on how much the Dominican wanted to play the Netherlands, Puerto Rico's got to feel the same way. They've been beat twice now. The final game of round 1 and round 2, they get another shot at it.
Maybe the third time will be. Kurt Smith has struck out, hit into a fielder's choice and lined out. Netherlands lone run, couple of walks and a ground ball out in the first inning. They have been shut down. Volquez with a run on 2 hits over 5. He had 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Herrera worked a couple of innings, 1 hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Strop an inning with a hit, nothing else, and now Rodney on to try and finish it up.
Boy, the big thing that's turned Fernando Rodney around is his ability to throw that changeup for a strike. Just as he did right there, and he did right there again. He's always had the great arm, that fastball velocity as good as anybody in the game, but had nothing else to go with it that he could command.
Seagulls, now they're landing on the field. 1 ball, 2 strike count. And a foul tip into the mitt.
Doesn't even need that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, just back-to-back-to-back changeups. Look at the deception, look at the arm speed that he possesses with there. But because of the grip, it absolutely comes out with nothing on it except a little bit of late sink.
Here is Jonathan Scope and a foul ball. And of course, Santana's got to take one more shot right off the mask. Oh, man.
It's hard to watch.
It is.
I mean,
they're going to come out and take a look here. That one really stung.
Tony may go to his bench right away. He may not want to take a chance. I think Santana's talked him out of it.
Santana's caught as a starter all of the games. Rick mentioned how one game they moved him up from behind the plate, kept him in, playing at first, but he's been their starter in every game, and he'll be back tomorrow night. Oh.
Wow. There's Tony Peña's son, the backup catcher.
1 strike count, 2 down. And the pitch will be taken away.
Dominican Republic just 1 out away from establishing a record as a team. 7 consecutive wins would break the tie that they currently hold right now with the team from Japan.
And that'll be foul back.
The guess is right now that it's going to be Alvarado for Puerto Rico, and I would guess that it's going to be Doduno, who followed Volquez in round 2. Doduno pitched outstanding, 7 big strikeouts and a no decision, 4 innings, 1 run against the United States.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be outside. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Jonathan Scope.
Santana a little upset that he had to reach so far to catch that fastball. I think he tried to throw it back as hard as Rodney threw it in. And it actually looked like it hurt Rodney's left hand.
Rodney couldn't handle it. He dropped it.
We'll just have a little old-fashioned burnout here.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's the ball game. So Rodney will get a couple of strikeouts. He retires the side in order. The Dominican Republic will celebrate another win as they are 7-0, and they go to the championship game against Puerto Rico tomorrow night. And this team, which has done nothing but celebrate in this World Baseball Classic, will try and make it one more gigantic celebration tomorrow night.
Well, Tony Pena said it when this World Baseball Classic began, that the roots of our ball club, the strength of our team, is that bullpen, and he proved it once again. He got the 5 innings that he wanted out of the starter, and immediately he brought in Herrera for 2. Stroke came in for 1. Both of those guys with holds, and then when it gets down to the 9th inning and it's a save opportunity, there's no doubt that he's going to go to Fernando Rodney. Rodney once again perfect, almost like he was during the regular season for Tampa a year ago.
For the Netherlands, they take one more step forward in their baseball development for their country. They will end up 4-4, but they made it. They made it to the semifinal, which they had never done before. They've had the experience. They've got the young players, and have got to watch this highly talented Dominican team perform here. The Dominican had one big inning, 5th inning, 4 runs, 5 hits, and that's all they needed. They sent 8 batters to the plate in the inning to put the ball game away and move into the championship game. 4-9-0 for the Dominican Republic, and for the Netherlands, 1 run came on the first batter who reached, who scored on a walk, and that was it. They got only 4 hits in the ball game. Volk has a fine start. Once he settled down, ends up 1-0. Rodney gets the save. Markwell goes 2-1, takes the loss. And for Tony Pena, the opportunity now to lead this Dominican team to a championship. Moises Salou, acting as the GM of this ball club, helping to put it together. And so far, more than so good, real good.
You know, Gary, I really think that it comes down to one move that one manager made, and not so much anything that Hensley Mullins did wrong. We still don't know where that arrow comes down, but we know one thing. I wonder how many arrows he's got in that basket, because it seemed like every other night he's shooting one off. And look at that. The whole team is into it now, and why not? I mean, I think it's terrific entertainment. It's a passion that they feel, the pride of what they're doing for their country, and an opportunity to do exactly what they set out to do tomorrow night.
So the Dominican will get an opportunity to wrap up a championship, but Puerto Rico's going to have something to say about that tomorrow night on the air, 8 o'clock Eastern, midnight GMT time. Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic will meet for the 3rd time in this World Baseball Classic. And it's about Puerto Rico trying to gain a little revenge in that ball game. What they have done head-to-head, you see the numbers. The Dominicans won the 2 games, outscoring them 6-2, 18-10 in hits. With the runner in scoring position, numbers not particularly good for either team with that ERA for the Dominican Republic at 1. Nothing wrong with the 3 for Puerto Rico. It's just that the Dominican's been that much better. So here in San Francisco, the semifinals are complete, and there's only 1 game left to this World Baseball Classic. Japan out of it with a loss last night, 3-1 to Puerto Rico, and now the Netherlands have been eliminated 4-1 by the Dominican Republic, and there's the ball game for tomorrow night.
Well, it's really nothing new for Puerto Rico. They're going to come in as the underdog. But when you think back over the last 5 days, there has been 3 times where Puerto Rico faced elimination. They had to beat Italy. They had to beat the United States. And then, of course, last night they had to beat Japan. They were able to accomplish every bit of that. They've only got 1 more win that they've got to get to call themselves champions.
And pitching for the Dominican has been the key. Only 2 runs allowed in the last 35 innings. Their bullpen, 20 1/3 consecutive scoreless. They'll try and continue that tonight, and we will continue it tomorrow night as we bring you the championship game. For Rick Sutcliffe and all of our crew here in San Francisco, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks, everybody. Adieu, adieu.